Chapter 221. Meeting a Dragonkin party, slaughtering other races. Lin Moyu had killed abyssal blade demons before, and more than once. However, he had never fought them head-on, but rather blew them away from the get-go. The abyssal blade demon revealed a ferocious expression, its 8 arms glistening like 8 giant blades under the unique light of the immemorial battlefield, exuding a bloodthirsty aura. Abyssal blade demon. Level: 43. Strength: 20,000. Agility: 20,000. Spirit: 20,000. Physique: 15,000. Skill: Blade Dance. Traits: half defense to the light element, half dark elemental damage, fast. Judging at its attributes, which totaled 75,000 points, it was comparable to the Black Rock monster. However, it didn't have physical and elemental damage reduction traits. It was actually weaker than the Black Rock monster. In Lin Moyu's eyes, the abyssal blade demon was very weak. Apart from being able to fly, it had no other merits. The abyssal blade demon saw Lin Moyu's level and sneered, "A level 30 runt dares to come to the immemorial battlefield. Didn't expect my luck to be this good. I can have a hearty meal today. My strategy, searching along the edge of the battlefield, is pretty great, as most newcomers usually are at the edge." Lin Moyu mused, didn't this guy see me kill the Black Rock monster just now? If it did, it would have run away already, instead of talking big here. This was simply courting death. Seeing that Lin Moyu neither talked nor ran away, it thought that he was paralyzed with fear. "Haha, you're scared. Sweet human flesh, here I come." It roared excitedly and swiftly flew toward Lin Moyu, but then suddenly saw that the corners of Lin Moyu's mouth were lifted slightly. Not only was there no fear in his eyes, but there was even a hint of contempt. All of a sudden, instinct told it that there was danger. But it was already too late. With a hum, its body suddenly sank, as if it had been weighted down by something. Red light fell down in wisps, and it saw a red sword-shaped pattern, seemingly dripping with blood, appear on its head. What is this? It couldn't understand what was going on momentarily. Immediately after, it heard a loud boom, and its consciousness went out. Its massive corpse fell heavily in front of Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu had detonated the corpse of the Black Rock monster. Before detonating it, he first used Damage Curse on the abyssal blade demon. Damage Curse increased the damage dealt by 10 times. In addition, level 4 corpse explosion dealt 750% of the corpse's health as damage. The Black Rock monster's physique reached 30,000 points, and so its health was really high, showing exceptional results with the corpse explosion skill. The abyssal blade demon, who was sneering a moment ago, succumbed to the explosion in the next second. Killed level 43 abyssal blade demon, EXP plus 1,720,000, military merit plus 1,000. The military badge emitted a white light, indicating that Lin Moyu earned military merit. Very good. Killing abyssal demons not only yielded more express than monsters of the immemorial battlefield, but also provided military merit. If he could go to the abyss in the future, the harvest would undoubtedly be substantial. The closer you got to the center, the more monsters there were. Lin Moyu encountered strange and peculiar monsters in the immemorial battlefield. A black cloud was floating in the air, and when Lin Moyu reached it, it suddenly began to rain. The rain triggered the bone armor. The rainwater that fell on the ground emitted faint smoke, corroding the ground, while the skeletal warriors emitted sizzling sounds. This black cloud was a monster, called Soul Cloud, with a 95% immunity to physical damage. Lin Moyu was forced to use skeletal mages to deal with it. Afterward, he encountered a swamp. Lin Moyu was cautious, thinking monsters might be hidden in the swamp, only to find out that the entire swamp was a monster. When he approached, the swamp suddenly moved, trying to engulf him. The swamp was immune to physical attacks and water elemental attacks. In the end, Lin Moyu used skeletal mages to burn the swamp completely dry. The monsters here, at the very least, have dual damage reduction, with the majority immune to a single kind of damage. So far I haven't met any groups of monsters. After staying in the immemorial battlefield 2 days, Lin Moyu gained some understanding of this space. He was sure he was going in the right direction. In the last half a day, the frequency of monster encounters had increased significantly. Unfortunately, Lin Moyu hadn't met any more abyssal demons. After finding a relatively clean place, Lin Moyu sat down to eat and rest. The looming mountains in the distance, under the hazy light, remained unchanged, always so far away, seeming out of reach. Suddenly, a soft sound rose in the air hundreds of meters away, and the space split like fabric, forming a spatial channel. Lin Moyu became alert right away. A creature flew out from the spatial channel. Dragonkind. It resembled the Dragonkind monsters Lin Moyu had seen in the outpost dungeon, only larger, with a pair of flesh wings on the back flapping continuously, holding a sword in its right hand and a shield in its left. 5 more monsters similar to the Dragonkind monsters he had seen before flew out of the spatial channel, wielding either sword or stave. 1 knight, 2 warriors, 2 mages, and 1 support. This is a Dragonkind class user party. Lin Moyu had heard from Bai Yiyuan that Dragonkind also had class user parties, and their class users were no weaker than human class users. Reportedly, part of the human class user system was inextricably linked to Dragonkind. In the immemorial battlefield, encountering other races meant either you die, or I perish. Humans, abyssal demons, and Dragonkind, the 3 factions were mutual enemies. Lin Moyu was ready for battle. The Dragonkind class user party had also discovered Lin Moyu on the ground. Human, he bears the scent of Dragonkind. He has killed our comrades before. Kill him, the several Dragonkind shouted. The Dragonkind party's support applied status buffs to the party in a flash. This Dragonkind support was of a class similar to Battle King support, applying status buffs to the whole party. At the same time, Lin Moyu unleashed detection, and a gust of wind surged. Dragonkind Knight, level 48, strength 25,000, agility 15,000, spirit 10,000, physique 30,000. Skills: extreme defense, skin hardening, group taunt. Traits: defense enhancement, dragon scale armor enhancement, curse resistance enhancement. There were too many skills, more than 20, making it hard to keep track. Not unlike human knights, it had a lot of defensive skills. Its attributes totaled 80,000 points. After the status buffs were applied, the attributes grew even higher. As far as Lin Moyu knew, human superior class user paladins, at level 50, the total of their attributes was only around 80,000 points. Level 50 human paladins could only match the level 48 Dragonkind Knight. In this regard, the human race was at a disadvantage. But humans exceeded in other areas: team coordination, equipment crafting, potion concoction, and so on. In actual combat, humans were not weaker than Dragonkind. In the span of a second, the support was done applying status buffs, and then the Dragonkind party flew toward Lin Moyu. This was the first time Lin Moyu encountered another race party other than abyssal demons. He was fully prepared. At this time, red light flickered in his palm. Skill: slow curse. Skill: damage curse. Lin Moyu cast 2 curses one after another. A red chain pattern appeared on the heads of the Dragonkind class users, then was instantly replaced by a blood-colored sword pattern. After slowing down for a moment, their speed returned to normal. It turns out that curses can't be stacked. They will conflict with each other. Different from what he had imagined, multiple curses could not exist at the same time. Only one curse could exist at a time. It was unknown whether it would change in the future, but that was how it seemed right now. A light appeared on the Dragonkind class users and shot straight into the sky, dimming the curse. The Dragonkind Knight said with disdain, "It's useless. We Dragonkind are naturally resistant to curses, reducing the effect of curses to less than 1/10. 1/10, that was still 100% increase in damage, which wasn't bad at all." When he heard that, Lin Moyu showed no reaction. He simply pointed at the approaching Dragonkind party with a finger. Skill: Bone Fangs. Pale radiance erupted from his fingertip and burst in an instant, illuminating a large area. A total of 1,200 bone fangs tore through the air, emitting a scalp-tingling whistling sound. The Dragonkind Knight didn't take the bone fangs seriously at all. After all, for a mere level 30 human, how powerful could his skill be? However, the skill did look a bit intimidating. Not only the knight, but also the teammates behind it showed looks of disdain. Dragonkind possessed a though hide, with the scales covering their bodies being the best armor. Coupled with defensive equipment, they could shrug off such attacks with ease. The Dragonkind Knight lazily placed the shield in front of it. The dense mass of bone fangs covered a vast space, making it impossible to dodge. The Dragonkind party met the fangs head-on, feeling disdainful. But then, miserable screams rang out. The bone fangs pierced their defenses with irresistible momentum, and bloody holes appeared on their torso, limbs, and wings. Such was the price of underestimating the enemy. The weakened damage curse, combined with the 40 times amplified bone fangs, shattered their disdain. The physique of Dragonkind was indeed formidable, although they looked like they were severely injured, but it was no more than flesh wounds. In mere seconds, blood stopped flowing out, and the flesh began to regenerate. Their support cast healing skills. Accompanied by droning sounds, everyone's injuries were healed quickly. The Dragonkind class users looked at each other in disbelief. How could the skills of a level 30 human class user so powerful? Severe pain swept through their nerves. It was entirely different from what they knew. White light flashed again. Defense. The Dragonkind Knight roared and activated a group defense skill, and a huge circular shield formed instantly and protected everyone inside. This time it didn't dare not be careless. Bone fangs hit the shield wave after wave, deforming it continuously. Charge! Kill him! Mages, attack! The Dragonkind Knight roared and rushed toward Lin Moyu with the shield. At the same time, the Dragonkind mages in the party started. Flames spewed out from their staves and engulfed Lin Moyu, turning the surrounding area into a sea of fire. The bone armor flickered brightly. Lin Moyu stood in the sea of fire, unscathed. When the Dragonkind Knight broke through the bone fangs, assault and landed in front of Lin Moyu, 2 Dragonkind warriors rushed out and charged at Lin Moyu. But then their vision darkened. Chapter 222, Fleeing Abyssal Demons and Dragonkind. After the Dragonkind class users landed, Lin Moyu had no intention of letting them escape. He lifted his hand, and an overwhelming number of skeletal warriors appeared and surrounded the 2 Dragonkind warriors who had just charged out from behind the shield, some swinging their blades while others holding the opponent. Under Lin Moyu's orders, escape was out of the question. The skeletal warriors unleashed their skills, and their blades landed on the Dragonkind warriors, severing wings, filling the air with agonizing screams. At the same time, 100 skeletal mages appeared, and a large number of magic spells slammed into the Dragonkind Knight's shield and smashed it apart. In the next moment, a red light flashed, and the damage curse was replaced with the slow curse. Even though the curse's effect was greatly reduced, it would still be able to slow down the enemy significantly, buying time for the skeletal warriors. Not being able to fly was a remaining weakness of the skeleton warriors. Therefore, the best way to deal with these flying enemies was to prevent them from taking off. Crap! The skeletons appearing, the shield shattering, and the curse descending, these 3 things happened almost at the same time. It all took less than a second. By the time the Dragonkind Knight realized what was going on, it was already too late. The skeletons rushed over and jumped up one after another, not giving the Dragonkind class user any chances to escape. The Dragonkind class users never expected so many skeletons to appear. When they first saw Lin Moyu, there were clearly only 2 skeletons by his side. Had they known this beforehand, they wouldn't have descended. Charge out with me! The Dragonkind Knight wanted to break out of the encirclement, or else it would die here. Skill. Dominant impact. The Dragonkind Knight unleashed a fierce roar and activated its skill. At the same time, a flame flashed in Lin Moyu's palm. The Dragonkind Knight's roar instantly turned into a miserable scream, and its skill was interrupted. It almost dropped its sword and fell to its knees, trembling. Skill. Soul Blaze. The base power of Soul Blaze was determined by Lin Moyu's spirit force. After reaching level 30 and equipping the complete Hell Outpost set, his spirit force was raised by a great margin. Additionally, after reaching level 30, the power of the 30 Soul Blaze skill itself had also increased. Lastly, his talent's amplification changed from 30 times to 40 times. As a result, the power of Soul Blaze had reached an astonishing degree. When it was used now, it perfectly interrupted the Dragonkind Knight's skill, shattering their last hope. Lin Moyu showed no mercy. Unlike during the class user competition, there was no room for leniency. He used the extremely painful Soul Blaze skill without hesitation. After all, when confronting an enemy, no method was too extreme. The skeletal warriors overwhelmed them completely. The Dragonkind mages cast magic shields and attempted to fly away. But the magic shields were quickly swarmed by skeletal warriors. At the same time, the skeletal mages' skills rained down, smashing the magic shields, and then the skeletal warriors swiftly severed their wings. When a Dragonkind mage was killed, the curse switched, changing from the slow curse to the damage curse. Then came a loud rumble, and the entire Dragonkind party was wiped out. Killed level 48 Dragonkind Knight, EXP plus 1,920,000, military merit plus 1,000. Killed level 48 Dragonkind Mage, EXP plus 1,920,000, military merit plus 1,000. Lin Moyu was taken aback. He didn't expect that, in addition to killing abyssal demons, killing Dragonkind would earn him military merit. It seemed that Dragonkind were also enemies of the human race. But why didn't the Dragonkind monsters in the Dragonkind frontline outpost dungeon give military merit? Lin Moyu couldn't figure it out for the time being. This time he earned 6,000 military merit, pushing his military merit to 44,000 and adding another star to his military badge. Lin Moyu was promoted to a 4-star lieutenant. A level 34-star lieutenant, this was unprecedented in the history of the human race. Many level 30 class users had never even set foot on the dimensional battlefield, let alone ventured into the more dangerous immemorial battlefield. Lin Moyu retrieved his skeletons, keeping only 2 skeletal warriors by his side, to create a false impression. Upon seeing that he was only level 30, enemies would undoubtedly rush over. However, if a bunch of skeletal warriors had been released instead, both abyssal demons and Dragonkind would likely flee at first sight. Chasing after them would be a pain. If only they could fly. Lin Moyu sighed. The issue of skeletal warriors being susceptible to control had been resolved, yet the issue of them being unable to fly still remained. The enemies could fly, but he couldn't, which was quite troublesome. Aside from some special classes, most human class users could only gain the ability to fly after reaching level 70 and completing the 3rd class awakening. Lin Moyu wondered if the skeletal warriors would be able to fly after reaching level 70. He thought about the scene he saw in the 3rd Battlefield's dungeon, where a human mage cast restricted airspace, and the enemies immediately lost their ability to fly. This was especially advantageous for low to high level human class users. Everything had its pluses and minuses. Lin Moyu knew he couldn't ask for too much, given that his class was already quite overpowered. The spatial channel in the sky had already disappeared. Lin Moyu had the skeletons gather the equipment of the Dragonkind party, tossing them into his storage space. Their equipment was pretty good, all platinum rank, though he wasn't sure if it was suitable for humans to use. Even if it was given to a blacksmith as raw materials, it would still be of use. In the Dragonkind world, a thunderous roar rose and dispersed the clouds. Who was it? Who killed my party? If I find who you are, I'll skin you alive. Inside an enormous castle, roars rumbled through the air, and the massive castle trembled and shook. The castle's owner had just sent a party to the immemorial battlefield, yet it was wiped out within 2 minutes. It had expended a great cost to open the channel to the immemorial battlefield. Now it all had gone wasted. Regrettably, no one answered its question. It could only roar in anger. Lin Moyu recalled the words of the Dragonkind knight he had just fought. He bears the scent of Dragonkind. Based on the Dragonkind knight's words, it seemed like Lin Moyu had killed Dragonkind before. The only possibility was the frontline outpost dungeon, where he had killed many Dragonkind-type monsters. That might be where he picked up the scent. However, in that dungeon, there were only monsters, yet no military merit. Strange. Lin Moyu didn't continue to dwell on it. If this scent was that noticeable, then other Dragonkind might come looking for him. For those level 40 or level 50 parties, no matter how many come, Lin Moyu could wipe them all out, earning him express, military merit, and equipment. In this regard, Dragonkind had better performance than abyssal demons. At this time, Lin Moyu stepped into a stretch of rolling hills. The hills weren't high, only 20 to 30 meters tall, extending as far as the eye could see. Among the hills, a rather narrow passage had formed, less than 10 meters wide. In the immemorial battlefield, there were countless hills, stretching endlessly along the way. When Lin Moyu first saw this area, he didn't think anything of it. But when he stepped inside, he sensed something was off. It was too quiet, terrifyingly quiet. In the immemorial battlefield, there was always whispering, as if calls from souls. It had been there since he first stepped into the immemorial battlefield, and had never disappeared since. But now that whispering was gone. When a sound that had always been present suddenly disappeared, it created a strange feeling and a sense of extreme discomfort. Amid the unexpected quietness, Lin Moyu looked ahead, igniting soul blaze in his palm. Yet there was no crackling sound from burning souls. In other words, there were no soul fragments around. In the immemorial battlefield, the absence of soul fragments was highly unusual. Suddenly, the ground began to quake. In Lin Moyu's line of sight, a dozen plus dark figures appeared, running toward him. Abyssal demons. Lin Moyu was startled, immediately recognizing that the dark figures running toward him were abyssal demons. Why aren't they flying? These abyssal demons had wings, yet they weren't flying, instead sprinting on the ground. This was rather strange. Then he noticed it wasn't just abyssal demons. There was also a party of Dragonkind class users running alongside the abyssal demons. Abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users were mortal enemies. Whenever they met, they would fight to the death. How come they were running side by side? Were they really getting along so well? And the Dragonkind class users weren't flying either. Lin Moyu's pupils constricted slightly. He looked more closely, and finally saw a large black mass chasing them from above and behind. Both the abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users had their eyes filled with panic. Clearly, the mass chasing them was quite terrifying. The mass was pitch black, as if it could absorb the light of the immemorial battlefield. All that could be seen was blackness. A delicious human. The human has killed our kind. The abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users spotted Lin Moyu at the same time. The abyssal demons revealed excited, bloodthirsty expressions. This was their instinct. Human flesh was the ultimate delicacy to them. The Dragonkind class users, on the other hand, showed looks of resentment. Lin Moyu carried the scent of Dragonkind, and it was fresh. This indicated that he had recently killed Dragonkind class users. Both groups wanted to kill him. However, they were currently fleeing for their lives. Boom, boom, hills on both sides exploded, and swarms of black objects burst out and joined the pursuit. The group of 9 abyssal demons and 6 Dragonkind class users was being chased doggedly by these black objects. What on earth were those things? Lin Moyu cast detection. Soul Devour Insect. Level 40. Strength 5,000. Agility 20,000. Spirit 5,000. Physique 5,000. Skill Soul Devour. Traits: ignore defense, ignore physical immunity, bite everything. Lin Moyu was startled. The attributes didn't seem particularly powerful. Strength, spirit, and physique were merely 5,000 each. Only agility was relatively high, giving them considerable speed. Their soul skill was Soul Devour, which explained the absence of soul fragments in this area. The soul fragments were all consumed by them. But this alone wasn't enough to make the abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users cut such sorry figures. The key lied with the Soul Devour insect's traits: ignore defense, ignore physical immunity, bite everything. That was quite scary. If there were only a few dozen to 100 Soul Devour insects, they wouldn't pose a problem. But looking at them now, densely packed together, there were thousands upon thousands. No wonder the abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users were fleeing for dear life. Boom! All of a sudden, a hill burst apart, and a massive number of Soul Devour insects emerged, blocking the path of the abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users. The abyssal demons radiated formidable auras, and terrifying flames shot ahead, burning open a path in an instant. A Dragonkind knight activated its smash skill. At the same time, the Dragonkind mages behind it cast a barrage of magic spells, pushing back the surrounding Soul Devour insects and carving out a path. They saw the end of the hills behind Lin Moyu. If they could escape this area, they would be saved. However, Lin Moyu's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He had no intention of letting them escape. Soul Blaze was already raging fiercely. Chapter 223. This goddamned crazy bastard. Shrieks of agony rang out one after another. The abyssal demon and Dragonkind knight charging at the very front fell to the ground, unleashing miserable screams. The sudden excruciating pain was unbearable, making it difficult for them to even maintain their balance. When they fell, their faces contorted with fear. All around them were terrifying Soul Devour insects. At the same time, they saw the blazing flame in Lin Moyu's palm. It's his doing, that vile human. The abyssal demon and Dragonkind knight were furious, their eyes filled with hatred, wishing they could kill the vile human in front of them. But for now, their priority was to escape with their lives. Enduring the intense pain, they quickly got up and continued to run forward. Since Lin Moyu had already started, there was no way he would let them escape alive. The Soul Devour insects would have to die as well. After all, Lin Moyu fears numbers the least. A chilly wind surged. On the immemorial battlefield, where there was no sun, the temperature was already rather low, with frozen ponds strewn about. But now the temperature had dropped even further, as if to freeze everything solid. 2 tall and imposing Lich generals appeared beside Lin Moyu. Summons. The abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users showed looks of surprise. Earlier, they had seen 2 skeletons next to Lin Moyu. But now there were 2 more summons. The Lich generals were over 3 meters tall, burly in stature, flanking Lin Moyu on either side. They looked quite impressive. But in the face of the soul-devour insects, size was useless. No matter how powerful their defense was, no matter if they were immune to physical attacks, it was all futile. This human is not right in the head. If he doesn't run away now, he's going to die soon. There are already soul-devour insects heading his way. He's as good as dead. As a mere level 30 human, he can't outrun them. The abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users shared similar thoughts. Due to the disturbance caused by detection, a swarm of soul-devour insects was now flying toward Lin Moyu. The 2 Lich generals raised their staves high, and skeletal warriors and skeletal wages arranged in square formations appeared on the ground. This was the first time Lin Moyu's undead legions went to battle. Pale white rings of light appeared on the skeletons. Skill, Legion enhancement. The attributes of the skeletons were raised by 30%, and their defense, attack speed, and casting speed were all enhanced. This single skill was comparable to most of a prophet's status buffs. The 2 undead legions, a total of 400 skeletal warriors, blocked the narrow path completely. The countenance of the abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users changed dramatically. Get out of the way. The abyssal demon at the very front unleashed black flames. These black flames had the knockback effect, similar to Mage's fire ring of repulsion. Consequently, skeletal warriors were knocked back one after another. The Dragonkind Knight also used its smash skill, which combined the effects of charge and impact skills. It charged forward, knocking skeletons aside. The 2 Lich generals raised their staves simultaneously. Skill, Nullify. Brilliant light rose from the skeletons, instantly removing all abnormal statuses. Additionally, for a certain period, they became immune to abnormal statuses. With a loud bang, the Dragonkind Knight crashed into what felt like an unyielding steel plate, interrupting its smash skill and knocking it back. Even the abyssal demon's flames could no longer knock back the skeletal warriors. What's going on? It's over. Just as these thoughts sprang up in the minds of the abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users, the magic spells of 200 skeletal mages rained down, targeting not only them but also the soul-devour insects. As the magic spells rained down, Lin Moyu raised his hand, and a red light enveloped the earth. Skill, Damage Curse. Whether soul-devour insects, abyssal demons, or Dragonkind class users, all had a dark red sword pattern appear on their head. It's a curse. What on earth is this guy's class? How can he use curses as well? Isn't he a summoner? Since when can summoners use curses? The moment the curse took effect, the magic spells of the skeletal mages had already descended. The soul-devour insects, with only 5,000 points in physique, basically couldn't withstand the attacks from the skeletal mages. Killed level 40 soul-devour insect, EXP plus 200,000. The EXP was quite low, about a quarter of what you would expect from level 40 monsters on the immemorial battlefield. However, the thing they had going for themselves was their numbers. With one volley, notifications flooded in, and Lin Moyu's express shot up rapidly. Soul-devour insects emitted ear-piercing screeches, and a large number of them were wiped out. But then more soul-devour insects quickly filled the gaps. Boom! A dozen plus hills burst open one after another, releasing even more soul-devour insects. This is really the end. This crazy bastard, does he really think he can stop them with these summons? How naive, that won't work at all. The abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users thundered. With countless soul-devour insects behind, the undead legions blocking the path ahead, there was nowhere to run. They were trapped. The look in their eyes turned frenzied, and they ignored the soul-devour insects and instead focused their attacks on the skeletal warriors. If they were going to die, they were determined to drag Lin Moyu down with them. At the same time, massive amounts of soul-devour insects rushed over and clashed with the skeletal warriors. Thanks to the ignore defense and ignore physical immunity traits, the soul-devour insects inflicted significant damage to the skeletons. After the status buff was applied, the physique of the skeletal warriors exceeded 50,000 points. But in front of the soul-devour insects, it was still all in vain. The Lich generals struck the ground with their staves. Skill, Legion Heal. Numerous pale beams of light soared into the sky, and the damage the skeletal warriors had taken was instantly erased. The Legion Heal skill was exceptionally powerful. Under the blades of the skeletal warriors, the soul-devour insects were instantly slain one after another. Although the soul-devour insects appeared as a black, indistinguishable mass, but individually they were only the size of a fist, with just 5,000 points in physique. Coupled with the tenfold damage boost provided by the curse, the skeletal warriors easily killed the soul-devour insects with a swing of the blade. The skeletal mages' magic spells also annihilated large swaths of the soul-devour insects. The soul-devour insects let out piercing screeches that echoed far and wide, and hills burst open one after another, releasing even more soul-devour insects. It looked as if there was no end to the soul-devour insects. The abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users had already sustained severe injuries. Having to fend off attacks from both the skeletal warriors and the soul-devour insects, they won't last much longer. But their eyes still surged with a frenzied shade. They watched the soul-devour insects surround Lin Moyu from all directions, making escape impossible. Now his death was merely a matter of time. You're doomed. Since you're standing in our way, you'll die together with us. For once, the abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users shared a common enemy in Lin Moyu, their eyes burning with murderous intent. Lin Moyu, however, didn't care. The bone armor shone brightly, blocking the soul-devour insects' attacks. The soul-devour insects' traits were indeed quite powerful. Under their gnawing, the bone armor's durability was rapidly decreasing. It wouldn't hold out for much longer. At this time, a smile played on Lin Moyu's lips, and he raised his hand, and white light burst forth with a bang. Skill: Bone Fangs. In an instant, a large tract of soul-devour insects were eliminated by the bone fangs. Skill: Corpse Explosion. A booming blare ensued, and soul-devour insects fell like wheat to the scythe. With a single explosion, all the soul-devour insects around Lin Moyu were obliterated. Not a single soul-devour insect survived within a radius of 120 meters. What just happened? How did they all die? Oh my god, how did he do that? The abyssal demons and Dragonkind class users were stupefied, at their wits' end. At this time, Lin Moyu looked terrifying and enigmatic. Subsequently, more explosions erupted, and waves of terrifying attacks surged toward them. Although the soul-devour insects had weak physique and weak health, but with corpse explosions' health increase of 7.5 times, coupled with the damage curse's damage increase of 10 times, the compounded damage was quite considerable. The Dragonkind class users fared slightly better due to their natural resistance to curses, which significantly weakened the effects of curses. The abyssal demons, on the other hand, were in dire straits. On the one hand, they were subjected to the attacks of the skeletal warriors and skeletal mages, while simultaneously enduring the relentless explosions triggered by corpse explosion. After just a few moments, the abyssal demons were already dead. While the Dragonkind Knight maintained mass protection, the Dragonkind class users hunkered inside the shield, not daring to move. They had witnessed the abyssal demons' demise firsthand. In their eyes, Lin Moyu was a real devil, who slaughtered the abyssal demons as if dogs. With the abyssal demons dead, Lin Moyu now had better raw materials. The abyssal demon's health was far higher than that of the soul-devour insects. Boom! An abyssal demon corpse exploded, instantly smashing the Dragonkind Knight's mass protection skill. At the same time, the Dragonkind class users inside the shield were subjected to violent impact, coughing up blood, their faces filled with horror. The power of the impact was overwhelming. Another explosion followed, and terrifying force engulfed them. Lin Moyu was flooded with express notifications, unable to keep track of how many soul-devour insects he had killed in this wave. His express rose by a whopping 10%. At the same time, the military badge flashed again, and another star appearing on its surface, 5-star Lieutenant. Killing the abyssal demons and the Dragonkind class users earned him 14,000 military merit, bumping his total of military merit up to 58,000, just a step away from reaching 6-star Lieutenant. Ear-piercing din echoed, as more soul-devour insects were flying over. In Lin Moyu's eyes, these soul-devour insects were just express. The more there were of them, the better. The hills rolled on into the distance, extending for who knows how far. Some hills reached heights of 30 to 50 meters, while others were just a few meters high. At this time, the hills were bursting one after another, releasing massive amounts of soul-devour insects. This place was the territory of the soul-devour insects, and now they had been fully awakened. As explosions rang one after another, Lin Moyu's express kept rising. His leveling speed was incredibly fast. Watching the express rise was immensely satisfying. In the distance, a massive hill more than 100 meters tall burst open, and a grating, ear-piercing screeching followed. A gigantic soul-devour insect emerged. Vastly different from the fist-sized soul-devour insects, this one was 5 to 6 meters long, with wings spanning over 10 meters. Its speed was astonishing. With a flap of its wings, it covered hundreds of meters in an instant. In response to its cry, the soul-devour insects attacking Lin Moyu turned and flew toward it. Chapter 224, Triggering the Boss's Appearance. When he saw the soul-devour insects abruptly turn around and leave, Lin Moyu was puzzled. Then, he saw a massive soul-devour insect flying toward him like a bolt of lightning. So big. Accustomed to seeing smaller ones, Lin Moyu was taken aback by the sheer size of this one. He instinctively cast Detection. Soul-devour Insect King, Lord Rank Boss. Level: 55. Strength: 80,000. Agility: 80,000. Spirit: 40,000. Physique: 100,000. Skills: Soul Devour, Second Form, Paralyzing Screech. Traits: Ignore Defense, Ignore Physical Immunity, Bite Everything. When he saw the attributes, Lin Moyu was speechless. The Soul Devour Insect King was a level 55 monster, a Lord Rank Boss, only one rank below World Rank Boss, with its 4 attributes combining totaling a whopping of 300,000 points. I need to get serious. After some thought, Lin Moyu decided to wait for the Soul Devour Insect King to come to him before launching Corpse Explosion. The ground was littered with the corpses of Soul Devour insects, as well as the corpses of Abyssal Demons and Dragonkind class users. Coupled with the damage curse's boost, the odds were in his favor. The Soul Devour Insect King stopped in midair, its massive eyes fixed on Lin Moyu. There was no murderous intent in its gaze, only cold indifference. Countless Soul Devour insects gathered around it and emitted sharp screeches, as if telling it what had happened. The area was filled with the ear-splitting din of the Soul Devour insects. Lin Moyu creased his eyebrows, finding the noise grating. Suddenly, all the noise stopped. Lin Moyu quickly tensed up. The next second, the Soul Devour Insect King let out a deafening screech, dispersing the light of the immemorial battlefield, raising sound waves that traveled far and wide. Lin Moyu's bone armor glowed brightly, resisting the impact of the sound waves. The skeletons, on the other hand, were all injured. The Lich Generals cast their Legion Heal skill simultaneously, healing the skeletons. In the upper layer, although level 55 wasn't considered the pinnacle, but a level 55 Lord Rank Boss, with a total of 300,000 points in attributes, could definitely defeat ordinary level 65 monsters. Merely a screech from the Soul Devour Insect King was enough to kill someone. The bone armor creaked, and its glow quickly dimmed. Lin Moyu promptly recast bone armor. The Soul Devour Insect King opened its large mouth part, and the Soul Devour insects willingly flew inside. The Soul Devour Insect King's figure grew even larger and began to expand. On the ground, the corpses of the Soul Devour insects turned into soul fragments that assimilated with the Soul Devour Insect King. The corpses disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. As its figure continued to change, the Soul Devour Insect King continued to screech, the noise traveling far and wide, reaching people far away. That's the Soul Devour Insect King. Shit, the Soul Devour Insect King is out. Run. Every time the Soul Devour Insect King comes out, it raises storms of blood. Let's go. If we dally here, we'll be in trouble. It's not just us, the monsters need to run as well. The Soul Devour insects eat everything they see. There's nothing they can't eat. I remember the Soul Devour Insect King came out just half a year ago. Why is it out again so soon? That's really weird. Strange. Since the Soul Devour Insect King is so amazing, it should drop a lot of good stuff, right? So why doesn't anyone go kill it? Once, a team of over 100 Dragonkind class users attempted to kill it, but they only managed to drive it away. Upon hearing the screeching, the countenance of human class users, Dragonkind class users, and even Abyssal Demons changed drastically, and they rapidly fled into the distance. In addition to them, the nearby monsters also erupted into a chaotic frenzy, frantically fleeing into the distance. Lin Moyu's eyes turned solemn. On the ground, the corpses of the Soul Devour insects had disappeared, with only the corpses of several Abyssal Demons and Dragonkind class remaining. Within just a minute, the Soul Devour Insect King's figure had expanded by a large chunk, and the number of its insect legs increased from 18 to 36. Each insect leg was 5 to 6 meters long, and was covered in sharp barbs. The rest of its body was also covered in barbs. In addition, its body was covered in glistening scales. Lin Moyu looked pensive. thinking that she barbs could be used to his advantage. They could be used by skeletal warriors as stable handholds. When the Soul Devour Insect King finally completed its transformation, dozens of eyes suddenly appeared all over its body, leaving no blind spots to exploit. The eyes can also be exploited. I can have the skeletal warriors target them. I wonder if the bone fangs can pierce its defenses. At this point, panic was of no use. Lin Moyu was thinking about how to fight, how to slay the opponent. Level 55 Lord rank boss, that was 25 levels higher than him. But Lin Moyu wasn't afraid at all. After all, he had been killing higher leveled monsters all along. It's just that this time the difference in levels was a bit extreme. After the Soul Devour Insect King devoured all the Soul Devour insects and absorbed the soul fragments of the Soul Devour insects' corpses, it screeched and charged forward. So fast. In an instant, it had arrived in front of Lin Moyu, and its giant insect legs slashed as if weapons, unleashing tremendous force, flinging the nearby skeletons away, dealing them some damage. The giant insect landed on Lin Moyu, and the bone armor burst forth with brilliant white light, blocking its attacks. After reaching level 30, bone armor provided defense equivalent to 120,000 points in physique. The Soul Devour Insect King couldn't break through it right away. Lin Moyu stood his ground, taking its attacks head-on. It finally came down. This was what he had been waiting for. Red light flashed. Skill. Damage curse. Skill. Corpse explosion. The corpses of the abyssal demons and Dragonkin class users detonated one after another. Seeing as it had been a while since they died, the corpses had lost most of their health. But that was better than nothing. And after the curse's boost, the power of corpse explosion was still considerable. The Soul Devour Insect King, obviously hurt by the explosions, screeched in pain without stop. Just then, its entire body glowed, and all its eyes turned toward Lin Moyu. Skill. Soul Devour. Lin Moyu felt a force erupt on him, seemingly trying to pull him forward. But then the bone armor shone brightly, cutting off the force. The bone armor was once again heavily damaged. However, Lin Moyu quickly reapplied it. The bone armor, as if a cheat item, firmly protected Lin Moyu. Soul Devour was a group attack skill, affecting the skeletons as well. Their soul fires flickered violently, and their movements paused for an instant. But that was it. Everything returned to normal after that. The skeletons' souls could not be devoured, rendering Soul Devour useless. The Soul Devour Insect King was enraged and continued to attack like crazy. When the corpses finished detonating, the Soul Devour Insect King was merely injured, not dead. Its level was high, and it was a boss monster, so its health was extremely formidable. Regarding the wounds on its body, many Soul Devour insects crawled out, repairing the wounds at a breakneck speed. The devoured Soul Devour insects unexpectedly were able to heal the Soul Devour Insect King's wounds. Meanwhile, the skeletal warriors and skeletal mages had already taken action. The skeletal warriors jumped onto its body one by one. The skeletal warriors were supposed to use the barbs covering the Soul Devour Insect King's body as handholds for climbing, but when they climbed on top of it, they found that things were completely different. The barbs opened up like flowers and split into numerous small barbs, knocking the skeletal warriors back down. It was troublesome, very troublesome. If the skeletal warriors couldn't climb up, they wouldn't be able to exert much of their combat power. With determination in his heart, Lin Moyu decided to use the skeletal mages to grind it down. The Soul Devour Insect King's most powerful move was Soul Devour, dealing massive damage to souls. In fact, it was similar to Soul Blaze, in that it couldn't be defended against. This was also the Soul Devour Insect King's most terrifying aspect. Unfortunately, this move was ineffective against Lin Moyu. Other than that, the Soul Devour Insect King wasn't as powerful as he had imagined. This was especially true when facing his undead legions. Lin Moyu willed, and 8 more Lich Generals appeared. Consequently, 10 undead legions, a total of 2,000 skeletal warriors and 1,000 skeletal mages surrounded the Soul Devour Insect King. The Lich Generals received Lin Moyu's instructions. Subsequently, the skeletal mages unleashed their skills, and magic spells completely engulfed the Soul Devour Insect King. The skeletal warriors surrounded the Soul Devour Insect King and took turns using their skills. Red light filled the sky. Skill. Slow curse. The Soul Devour Insect King's movements slowed down immediately. Lin Moyu wasn't going to give it a chance to escape. Soul Blaze burned brightly. The Soul Devour Insect King was skilled in soul attacks, and Lin Moyu was just as skilled. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Firelight fell, and the Soul Devourer Insect King let out deafening screeches. The grating noise set off sound waves once again, as if threatening to pierce through eardrums. But the bone armor blocked the sound waves. The skeletal warriors were knocked back by the sound waves. But then the Lich Generals waved their staves and cast a skill. Skill. Nullify. In the blink of an eye, the abnormal statuses of the skeletons were dispelled. At the same time, the skeletons were protected from being affected by abnormal statuses for a few minutes. The Soul Devourer Insect King's 36 insect legs danced wildly, constantly attacking the skeletal warriors. However, the skeletal warriors' attributes weren't low either, and so it was unable to one-shot them. The Lich General's Legion Heal was very powerful, enabling the skeletal warriors to attack the opponent without restraint. Soul attacks were ineffective, while physical attacks posed no threat to the skeletons. Subjected to the attacks of 1,000 skeletal mages and 2,000 skeletal warriors, the Soul Devourer Insect King fell into a disadvantage, sustaining increasingly severe injuries. All of a sudden, the Soul Devourer Insect King spread its wings and took off. Was it trying to run? Lin Moyu didn't think it was time for it to flee just yet. In midair, it glowed brightly, the light forming a protective barrier that blocked the skeletal mages' magic spells. At the same time, the health it had lost was rapidly being restored, and its form began to change. The 36 insect legs retracted and changed into arms and legs. The Soul Devourer Insect King stood upright, transforming into humanoid form, and the barbs on its body retracted and became like armor. Lin Moyu frowned. The Soul Devourer Insect King's aura had changed. It seemed to have transformed into a whole new monster. Detection flew out. Second form Soul Devourer Insect King, Lord Rank Boss. Level 55. Strength 120,000. Agility 50,000. Spirit 10,000. Physique 120,000. Skills: Soul Devourer, second form, Paralyzing Screech. Traits: Ignore defense, ignore physical immunity, bite everything. Chapter 225. Perfectly countering the Soul Devourer Insect King, Soul Crystal. The second form Soul Devourer Insect King, its spirit attribute decreased, while its strength and physique attributes increased. The overall attributes, however, remained unchanged, 350,000. The Soul Devourer Insect King transformed into a 10-meter tall humanoid monster. The skeletal mages continued their relentless attacks. With the barbs gone, the skeletal warriors began to swarm the Soul Devourer Insect King, covering its body in no time. The Soul Devourer Insect King swept with its large hands, sending multitudes of skeletal warriors flying. Subsequently, it grabbed a skeletal warrior and tossed it into its mouth, and then the sounds of crunching on bones rang out. The skeletal warrior was surprisingly eaten. At the same time, Lich General reported that its undead legion lost a skeletal warrior. At this time, the Soul Devourer Insect King grabbed another skeletal warrior, stuffed it into its mouth, and started chewing. After consuming the skeletal warriors, its injuries began to heal faster. It still had this kind of ability. Lin Moyu was at a loss for words. It could eat opponents to heal itself. This ability was just too abnormal. Since that's how you want to play it, then let's see whether you can eat faster or I can attack faster. The Soul Devourer Insect King grabbed the third skeletal warrior. Despite being affected by the curse that slowed its movements, it was so thoroughly surrounded by skeletal warriors that it could easily catch one. Lin Moyu snorted coldly. With a flash of red light, the damage curse replaced the slow curse. At the same time, Soul Blaze burned fiercely. Before this point, Lin Moyu had only used Soul Blaze once to divert the boss's attention, and hadn't used it again. Now, in order to quickly end the battle and reduce the damage, Lin Moyu himself also joined the fray. With the help of the damage curse, which increased damage by 10 times, the effect of Soul Blaze was maximized. The Soul Devourer Insect King screeched in agony, nearly dropping the skeletal warrior it was holding. Soul Blaze packed a powerful punch, inflicting excruciating pain, several times more intense than that of other skills. The Soul Devourer Insect King continued to eat skeletal warriors. At the same time, it swept with its hands, flinging swaths of skeletal warriors away, causing substantial damage to the skeletal warriors with each strike. However, the Lich General's Legion Heal was exceptionally powerful, instantly healing the wounds of the skeletal warriors. Additionally, the Lich Generals demonstrated excellent command skills. Without Lin Moyu's interference, they cycled the injured skeletal warriors to the rear for recovery, while sending the uninjured ones to the front to carry out attacks. The skeletons, fearless of death, insensible to pain, and never tiring, would continue to attack relentlessly until the enemy was annihilated. Due to the damage curse's tenfold increase, the damage inflicted by the skeletal warriors and skeletal mages was raised significantly. Combined with Lin Moyu's continuous use of Soul Blaze, the healing speed of the Soul Devour Insect King couldn't keep up with the damage it sustained. The Soul Devour Insect King's most powerful offensive skill was completely countered by Lin Moyu, leaving it only its basic attacks, which no longer posed a significant threat. Its defeat was inevitable. At this time, the Soul Devour Insect King was swarmed by skeletal warriors. It ate skeletal warriors one after another, but they were immediately replaced by others. The Soul Devour insects had always relied on numbers, but they found themselves at a numerical disadvantage at this time. The Soul Devour Insect King released a roar of unwillingness, then opened its mouth and released a swarm of Soul Devour insects. Hey, Lin Moyu showed a smile. When the Soul Devour insects emerged, they were met with a round of concentrated attacks from the skeletal mages. A large swath of Soul Devour insects perished. Skill: Corpse Explosion. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lin Moyu used Corpse Explosion. A series of explosions ensued, dealing massive damage to the Soul Devour Insect King. The Soul Devour Insect King reacted swiftly and absorbed the remaining corpses, no longer daring to release more Soul Devour insects. It realized that by doing so it would be throwing its life away. The Soul Devour Insect King's injuries were worsening rapidly, and it was getting genuinely frightened. If things continued like this, it would only last a few more minutes at most. It turned to flee, and the wings hidden beneath its armor instantly unfolded. This is the moment I've been waiting for. The Lich Generals perfectly executed Lin Moyu's command. The moment the wings appeared, the skeletal warriors on the Soul Devour Insect King's back unleashed their skill and, together with the skeletal mages, focused their attacks on the wings. White light burst forth from Lin Moyu's finger, and bone fangs shot out in rapid succession. Consequently, the Soul Devour Insect King's wings were riddled with holes and cuts, and even were torn off. The Soul Devour Insect King plummeted to the ground with a screech shortly after it took flight. When it dropped on the ground, it was swarmed by skeletal warriors, and their blades hacked away. Amidst the frenzied attacks, the Soul Devour Insect King's second form was dispelled, and it reverted to its insect form, and barbs bloomed all over its body. It swept about with its 36 insect legs, preventing the skeletal warriors from getting close. But no matter how hard it tried, it couldn't break through the encirclement of the skeletal warriors, nor could it withstand the relentless attacks of the skeletal mages. Despite its formidable health, the Soul Devour Insect King was already at the end of its rope. It let out a piercing screech of utter despair. At this time, with booming noise, and hills burst apart one after another. The ground shook violently, and cracks sprouted everywhere. Skeletal warriors fell into cracks. The Lich Generals reacted swiftly, promptly retrieving the skeletal warriors that fell in. A large crack appeared beneath Lin Moyu's feet as well, but he reacted quickly and dodged it, avoiding a fall. The skeletal mages, stumbling and swaying on the ground, were unable to proceed with their attacks. Lin Moyu willed, and the Lich Generals quickly retrieved all the skeletons, and then he retrieved the Lich Generals. Is this its skill? Lin Moyu wondered. Just as the skeletons were retrieved, the ground shattered and collapsed, and Lin Moyu fell along with it. He stood on a large rock during the fall, showing no sign of panic. The moment the ground collapsed, he saw massive numbers of Soul Devour insects. He quickly realized that the hills had been hollowed out a long time ago. The Soul Devour Insect King had commanded its minions to thoroughly dig up the ground. Accompanied by booming noise, the hills collapsed one after another, the devastation spreading rapidly. Consequently, the entire immemorial battlefield shook. People in the distance felt the tremors as well. A human class user party, located far away, when they heard the Soul Devour Insect King's earlier screeches, they began to run into the distance, felt the ground quaking. Is it an earthquake? Did you guys hear anything? I think I heard the Soul Devour Insect King screech. It wasn't an ordinary screech, but more like a cry of pain. Could someone be fighting the Soul Devour Insect King? It's been years since anyone attempted to take down that boss. If they do manage to defeat it, Soul Crystal would make a great reward. There's also Soul Devour Ring. It's not as good as boss accessories, but it's still a top-tier platinum rank accessory. These things are indeed great, but it's incredibly difficult to kill it. As the hills continued to collapse, the tremors grew stronger and spread further. Lin Moyu had already landed, finding himself amidst rubble. The Soul Devourer Insect King fell alongside him, its massive body crashing to the ground. Although it originally had the ability to fly, but its wings had been mangled and severed by the skeletons, stripping it of said ability. Massive amounts of Soul Devourer insects flew over from different directions and merged into the Soul Devourer Insect King's body, healing its wounds. There was no way Lin Moyu would let it lick its wounds in peace. Skill. Damage Curse. Skill. Bone Fangs. He cast the two skills in succession, first cursing the soul-devouring insects, and then following up with Bone Fangs, which glowed with white light, killing a large number of Soul Devourer insects. Next came Corpse Explosion. The Soul Devourer Insect King was hit by explosions once more, worsening its wounds that had just healed a bit. It let out a strange screech, no longer daring to let the Soul Devourer insects approach Lin Moyu. After all, the more of them came, the faster it would die. The Soul Devourer Insect King turned and ran away, screeching all the while. It's running away. Lin Moyu gave chase without hesitation. The Soul Devourer Insect King, with its incredibly high agility, was much faster than Lin Moyu, quickly running into the distance. Skill. Slow Curse. There was a flash of crimson light, and the Soul Devourer Insect King slowed down immediately. The slow curse had a range of 6,000 meters, and the Soul Devourer Insect King was well within its range. Affected by the slow curse, the Soul Devourer Insect King's speed was no match for Lin Moyu's. No matter how hard it tried, it couldn't pick up enough speed. The distance between the two gradually closed. The Soul Devourer Insect King kept screeching, each cry more desperate than the last. Lin Moyu had never seen a boss run for dear life before. Unfortunately, it won't be able to escape. Except for a 100-meter tall towering hill, the rest of the hills had all collapsed. That was the Soul Devourer Insect King's lair, and it hadn't been hollowed out. The Soul Devourer Insect King was fleeing toward its lair. As Lin Moyu was gaining on it, the fear in the Soul Devourer Insect King's cries intensified. Lin Moyu released skeletal warriors in an attempt to stop the Soul Devourer Insect King, but it brandished its 36 insect legs and swept them aside. The Soul Devourer Insect King kept running, heedless of anything else. Lin Moyu sensed that something was off. The Soul Devourer Insect King was fleeing in a specific direction, as if there was something there. In the distance, he saw the Soul Devourer Insect King's lair, the 100-meter tall hill. It was heading straight for it. There must be something there that can save it. I can't let it continue to run. Lin Moyu willed, and a skeletal warrior picked him up and ran forward together with him. Lin Moyu soon overtook the Soul Devourer Insect King and blocked its path. The Soul Devourer Insect King, however, continued to charge straight ahead. Lin Moyu stood firm, the bone armor shimmering, while the Soul Devourer Insect King was knocked back. It couldn't understand how such a small thing could stop it in its tracks. The Lich Generals emerged together with their undead legions, and then a massive amount of skeletons swarmed the Soul Devourer Insect King again. The Soul Devourer Insect King let out a cry of despair. It knew it had no chance of escaping. With its wings torn off, the Soul Devourer Insect King lost its ability to fly. It also couldn't use Soul Devourer insects to heal itself. Furthermore, its Soul Devourer skill was perfectly countered. Faced with the undead legions, it had no strength to fight back. It jumped in a last-ditch attempt to escape. But the skeletons leapt up as well, then slammed it back to the ground. What others saw as a terrifying skill, Lin Moyu saw as nothing. If he were faced with some other level 50 Lord rank boss, the battle might not have been this easy. 2 minutes later, the Soul Devourer Insect King fell with a final shocking cry. Killed Soul Devourer Insect King, EXP plus 5,500,000. Obtained Soul Devourer Dagger. Obtained Soul Devourer Sword. Obtained Soul Devourer Ring. Obtained Soul Crystal X5. Soul Devourer Dagger Assassin Type Class Exclusive Platinum Rank Weapon, all attributes plus 2,500, increases the power of Assassin Type skills by 80%. Supplementary Skill, Soul Devour. Soul Devour passive skill deals damage to the target's soul, the damage ignores defense, physical immunity, and elemental immunity. Soul Devour Sword Knight Type Class Exclusive Platinum Rank Weapon, all attributes plus 2,500, increases the power of Knight Type skills by 80%. Supplementary Skill, Absorption. Absorption passive skill when defending, absorbs part of the power of the opponent's attack to heal the host. Soul Devour Ring, Platinum Rank Accessory, all attributes plus 1000, reduces the consumption of skills by 20%. Soul Crystal, one-time use consumable, permanently increases spirit force by 1000 points per use, no usage restriction. Chapter 226, Secret Realm, Soul Devour Insect Mother. The spoils were quite plentiful. Upon seeing the attributes of the Soul Devour Ring, Lin Moyu couldn't help but feel a trace of delight. The property that reduces the consumption of skills by 20% was perfectly suited for him. It was worth the effort. The Soul Devour Ring was platinum rank equipment, usable only after level 40. The Soul Devour Dagger's supplementary skill was quite impressive. The dagger could be given to Ning Yi. The Soul Devour Sword was also excellent. With its supplementary skill, it was a top-tier sword for knights. Lin Moyu's luck was pretty good. The weapons he obtained had pretty good supplementary skills. Lastly, there was Soul Crystal, which permanently increased spirit force by 1000 points and had no usage restriction. Although it wasn't as potent as intermediate magical draft, but to Lin Moyu, it was nonetheless extremely useful. After all, what he lacked the most was spirit force. At the moment, even if he consumed all his spirit force, it would only be enough to summon one Lich General. As for replenishing the undead legions, it seemed like a daunting task. Unless he could obtain desert fruit. When he thought about desert fruit, Lin Moyu couldn't help but feel sick again. The memory was too haunting. He didn't use Soul Crystal right away, but instead looked toward the 100-meter tall hill not far away. That was the Soul Devour Insect King's lair. When the Soul Devour Insect King died, Lin Moyu clearly felt the hill shake violently. Then, an unusual aura was carried over by a gentle breeze. A secret realm. This aura was very unique, and Lin Moyu had felt it before. It was the aura of a secret realm. Lin Moyu put away the undead legions, leaving only 2 skeletons by his side, and quickly ran forward. The clicking noise in his ears brought him a great sense of security. The harvest this time was bountiful. The Abyssal Demons and Dragonkind class users earned Lin Moyu 14,000 military merit, pushing his military rank to 5-star lieutenant, just one step away from 6-star lieutenant. The massive number of Soul Devour insects earned him a large chunk of Express, propelling his Express to 35%. He had been on the immemorial battlefield for 2 days already, and this time, he had obtained the most Express so far. After reaching level 30, the leveling speed had slowed significantly once again. At this stage, being able to gain so much Express at once was already very rare. This pace, of course, was incomparable to repeatedly raiding dungeons. After all, this was the immemorial battlefield. When Lin Moyu reached the 100-meter tall hill, he saw a distorted space that looked like it was leading to another world. A secret realm. It was indeed a secret realm. The Soul Devour Insect King's lair was actually a secret realm. When the Soul Devour Insect King was alive, this secret realm was in a closed state. Only after the Soul Devour Insect King died did the secret realm reveal itself. Lin Moyu realized that the Soul Devour Insect King had wanted to escape into the secret realm in order to survive. Once the Soul Devour Insect King had hidden in the secret realm, there was nothing Lin Moyu could do. After all, he couldn't enter the secret realm while it was in the closed state. The entrance to the secret realm was a distorted space. Lin Moyu didn't go in right away. After the recent battle, his spirit force was nearly half depleted. He began to meditate in front of the secret realm. The skeletal warriors stood guard next to him. Due to the cries of the Soul Devour Insect King, the nearby monsters, class users, and abyssal demons had long since escaped. Lin Moyu quietly enjoyed a period of meditation. 2 hours later, his spirit force was almost fully restored. Lin Moyu took a deep breath and patted the Advanced Dungeon Escape Talisman in his pocket, and then walked into the secret realm. Advanced Dungeon Escape Talisman could be used not only to exit dungeons but also to leave secret realms. He was oblivious of this fact before, having only bought ordinary dungeon escape talismans from the trading office, which were not only ineffective in secret realms but couldn't even be used in some special dungeons. Luckily, Bai Yiyuan had thought everything through. After Lin Moyu entered the secret realm, some class users arrived nearby. A party of 12 Dragonkind class users showed up. This kind of party was often referred to as Hell Difficulty Raid Party by class users. As the name implied, they specialized in challenging Hell rank dungeons. This sort of party had many people, great equipment, complete skills, and excellent coordination. On the immemorial battlefield, a place full of unknown dangers, this provided a relative measure of safety and security. When they saw the completely collapsed ground, their eyes were filled with amazement. There were still some soul-devour insects left, but not many, and they didn't pose a threat. These hills were actually the soul-devour insects' nests, commonly known as the soul-devour insect territory. Normally, they would never dare to step foot in this place, for fear of provoking the soul-devour insects. To be able to accomplish this level of destruction, who on earth did this? The entire soul-devour insect territory has been leveled. All the nests have been destroyed. No, there's still one left. They looked into the distance, where the 100-meter-tall lair of the soul-devour insect king stood. Who won this battle? No idea. There are still soul-devour insects alive, so it's hard to say. Should we go take a look? They were unable to ascertain the final outcome of this battle. The battlefield was a gruesome sight. If the soul-devour insect king was still alive, it would be dangerous to venture in recklessly. But they couldn't help but itch to go take a look. How about we just look from the distance? If things go south, we can quickly make our escape. Even if the soul-devour insect king is still alive, it's probably seriously injured, so maybe they could take advantage of the situation. After some discussion, they mustered their courage and headed toward the soul-devour insect king's lair. After they left, another group arrived. This was also a party of 12, wearing the distinctive attire of the Shajing Academy, bearing the emblem of the Chuangshi Institute. These individuals were all over level 48, with the leading knight being level 50. After a brief discussion, they made the same decision as the Dragunkan party and stalked toward the soul-devour insect king's lair. The entire secret realm was shrouded in a faint blue shade. The secret realm was filled with a strange energy, soul energy. What pure energy! Different from the chaotic soul fragments on the immemorial battlefield, the soul energy here was extremely pure, without any impurities. Lin Moyu spread the fingers of his hand, and soul blaze ignited in his palm, burning intensely, yet it didn't burn any fragments. In the secret realm, the soul energy was devoid of fragments. At the same time, Lin Moyu sensed the aura of the soul-devour insect king. This was indeed its lair. The secret realm was filled with its aura. It probably usually hid in the secret realm. As he cautiously advanced through the secret realm, he spotted several raised mounds within a few minutes. These mounds looked very similar to the hills outside, except smaller. Lin Moyu cast detection. Soul-devour insect nestling, a nest that nurtures soul-devour insects. Only a name and basic explanation were provided, with no level nor attributes. Lin Moyu realized that once these things matured, they would be able to produce a large quantity of soul-devour insects. The hills outside were their mature forms. It was hard to imagine that the soul-devour insects were born this way. But where did these nestling come from? Could they have been produced by the soul-devour insect king? Or perhaps... An idea formed in Lin Moyu's mind, and he quickly walked deeper into the secret realm. The secret realm wasn't large, and he soon reached its limits. Sure enough, he saw 4 soul-devour insects, somewhat smaller than the soul-devour insect king, lying there. In addition, there was a soul-devour insect the size of a small mountain. Even when lying on the ground, its height exceeded 20 meters, exuding a powerful sense of oppression. The enormous soul-devour insect was surrounded by small mounds, which seemed to be freshly produced soul-devour insect nestling. The moment Lin Moyu saw the enormous soul-devour insect, he thought of a specific creature, the queen ant. The two looked so much alike. Lin Moyu realized that the soul-devour insect king wasn't the true boss of the soul-devour insects. The true boss was this enormous insect before his eyes. Soul-devour insect mother, world rank boss. Level 56. Strength 0. Agility 0. Spirit 200,000. Physique 200,000. Skills: Soul Devour, Soul Explosion, Soul Frost, Super Brooding. Traits: Physical damage reduced by 30%, Elemental damage reduced by 30%, Soul damage reduced by 30%. A world rank boss, 1 rank higher than the Soul Devour Insect King, and its overall attributes reached a whopping 400,000 points, 100,000 points higher than that of the Soul Devour Insect King. The difference between Lord rank boss and World rank boss was just of 1 rank, yet it resulted in such a huge increase of overall attributes, exceeding Lin Moyu's expectation. The Soul Devour Insect Mother had no physical attack power and no mobility. But its spirit force and physique had reached 200,000 points, the highest Lin Moyu had ever seen. Combined with its skills, it was clearly a mage-type boss. The power of a mage-type boss was entirely dependent on its skills. The 4 soul-devour insects guarding it screeched at Lin Moyu, their noise cutting through the air like knives. But they didn't attack him. Lin Moyu found this odd. Under normal circumstances, they would have charged at him by now. He cast detection. Soul Devour Insect Guard Leader Rank Monster. Level 50. Strength 0. Agility 0. Spirit 200,000. Physique 50,000. Skills: Spirit Shield. Traits: Physical damage reduced by 70%, elemental damage reduced by 70%, Kindred Soul Union. No wonder they didn't attack, they didn't have any attack power at all. Additionally, although their physique was low, but their spirit was off the charts. Combined with their skill, Lin Moyu immediately understood their purpose. At this time, the Lich Generals appeared with their undead legions, with 2,000 skeletal warriors and 1,000 skeletal mages filling up a large area. The skeletal warriors charged forward with a clatter, while the skeletal mages cast magic spells from the rear. The Lich Generals instantly applied status buffs to them, causing the skeletons to glow with brilliant rings of light, illuminating much of the secret realm. The entire action sequence was as smooth as flowing water, making for an impressive sight. With a ripping sound, a chunk of flesh fell from the Soul Devour Insect Mother, and then transformed into a small mound upon hitting the ground. This was how the Soul Devour Insect Nestling were formed. They were split off from the Soul Devour Insect Mother, then grew and hatched new Soul Devour insects. This was how Soul Devour insects expanded their population. After splitting off a nestling, the Soul Devour Insect Mother let out a piercing screech, and terrifying, almost tangible sound waves broke out and pushed the skeletons back. The 4 Soul Devour Insect Guards emitted dense blue light and activated their Spirit Shield. The Spirit Shields of the 4 Soul Devour Insect Guards connected together and merged into one, encompassing both themselves and the Soul Devour Insect Mother. In order to kill them, Lin Moyu had to break their shield first. The spirit force of the 4 Soul Devour Insect Guards put together reached a total of 800,000 points, showing just how sturdy this shield was. Breaking through it would be no easy task. Is scree. All of a sudden, a wailing cry echoed and slammed heavily into the skeletons, and their soul fire flickered violently, collectively suffering damage. Chapter 227. I'm going to kill you today. Soul fire flickered fiercely and booming sounds rose. In an instant, all the skeletons were injured, including the Lich Generals. None were spared. Only Lin Moyu, protected by the bone armor, shrugged off the attack. Judging from the intensity of the glow released by the bone armor, the attack clearly wasn't weak. The Lich Generals sent back information that their souls had been attacked. Soul explosion. Lin Moyu deduced that this must be the doing of this skill, directly affecting the soul. Its effect was somewhat similar to his Soul Blaze. However, Soul Blaze was a single target skill, whereas the Soul Devour Insect Mother's Soul Explosion was a group skill. And its range was vast, nearly able to affect the entire secret realm. Skill: Legion Heal. The Lich Generals raised their staves high, and pale white light shone, healing themselves and the skeletons. Fortunately, Lin Moyu had the Lich Generals. If it were before Lin Moyu had reached level 30, a few rounds of this skill would be enough to decimate the skeletons. Truth be told, it wouldn't even be a fight. If it were before, when Lin Moyu had only 300 skeletons, it would be impossible to defeat the Soul Devour Insect King, much less the Soul Devour Insect Mother. The Soul Devour Insect Mother's spirit force had reached 200,000 points, making its skills extremely powerful. Damage on the soul level was incomparably painful. Fortunately, the skeletons felt no pain. If it were class users instead, they would probably be trembling in agony, and even if they could endure it, their combat power would be greatly reduced. Among the people Lin Moyu had met so far, only Xu Yan could endure the pain coming from the soul. At this time, the skeletal warriors had already reached the spirit shield and unleashed their skill, and blades glowing red struck the spirit shield. The skeletal warriors surrounded the shield completely. 2,000 skeletal warriors, piled on top of each other, crawled all over the shield, and their blades slammed into the shield. At the same time, the skeletal mages cast their skills non-stop. Ripples rose on the shield and spread across it like waves. But despite all these attacks, the shield stood fast. As expected, it's really tough. After being fully buffed, the strength attribute of the skeletal warriors had reached 50,000, while the spirit attribute of the skeletal mages had reached 100,000. Their attack power was extremely powerful. Nevertheless, they still weren't able to break the spirit shield. The spirit force of the 4 soul devour insect guards was mixed together. With a combined spirit force of 800,000, the spirit shield was unimaginably though. Despite the relentless bombardment from the undead legions, it stood firm. Lin Moyu could see it clearly. The Soul Devour Insect King was a Lord rank boss bred by the Soul Devour Insect Mother standing in front of him, and its task was to absorb the soul fragments in the outside world to nourish the entire secret realm. In the secret realm, pure, untainted soul energy circulated, all under the control of the Soul Devour Insect Mother. The entire secret realm provided energy to the Soul Devour Insect Mother. And in turn, the Soul Devour Insect Mother provided energy to the 4 Soul Devour Insect Guards. Consequently, attempting to smash the spirit shield meant contending with the energy of the entire secret realm. It was an incredibly challenging endeavor. Who knows if anyone had ever managed to slay the Soul Devour Insect Mother before. After all, with such defensive power, even a level 60+ class user party might not be able to smash it. To break through the shield, a massive team would be necessary. A 6-people party or even a 12-people party wouldn't cut it. Nevertheless, today Lin Moyu wanted to kill it. S's scree. A wailing cry echoed again, injuring the skeletons once more. The skeletons crawling the shield dropped like raindrops, hitting the ground with a thud, then quickly got up and jumped back onto the shield. They feared neither death nor pain. The skeletal mages' skills were momentarily interrupted, but then resumed. Soul attacks were highly effective at disrupting skills. Lin Moyu used Soul Blaze to interrupt the opponent's skills, which was a well-tried and tested tactic. But at this time, the same tactic was unexpectedly used against his skeletons. The Lich Generals continued to employ Legion Heal. The Soul Devour Insect Mother's soul explosion was powerful, but it had a long cooldown period, taking it more than 10 seconds to cast the skill again, giving the Lich Generals ample time to completely heal their skeletons. The two sides were locked in a tag of war. Lin Moyu was contemplating how to deal with it, how to break the spirit shield, and the Soul Devour Insect Mother entertained similar thoughts. The Soul Devour Insect Mother's hundreds of compound eyes, strewn all over its body, filled with hatred, stared at Lin Moyu. It knew that the Soul Devour Insect King had died at Lin Moyu's hands. After several seconds, it emitted a deep blue light from all over its body. At the same time, the light on Lin Moyu's bone armor intensified. Lin Moyu was shocked. He was suddenly attacked, without any prior warning. And the attack was very powerful. The bone armor's glow reached a level it had only reached when Lin Moyu was attacked by the Fire Demon King. Soul attacks were always like this, silent, invisible, eerie, and powerful. Lin Moyu quickly reapplied the bone armor. After all, the bone armor could withstand this level of attack twice at most. Seeing that its attack was ineffective, the Soul Devour Insect Mother changed targets. After several seconds, a skeletal warrior quietly dropped from the shield. Dead. The skeletal warrior was dead. A Lich General reported back that a skeletal warrior had died. The cause of death: its soul froze. The soul fire on the skeletal warrior's body had been extinguished, a faint blue sheen covering its head. Aside from that, there was no other damage to its body. The Soul Devour Insect Mother transitioned from group attack to single target attack, which was even more concealed and more powerful. It could now directly one-shot skeletal warriors. It must be its skill Soul Frost. Lin Moyu recalled the information he obtained through detection. Soul Frost possessed tremendous power, freezing and extinguishing the skeletal warrior's soul fire. Subsequently, a new skeletal warrior appeared, filling the gap in the Undead Legion. During the previous battle with the Soul Devour Insect King, more than 10 skeletal warriors had died, but they were all replaced afterward. Lin Moyu's summon space had become the reserve for the Undead Legions. The Soul Devour Insect Mother proceeded to glow with blue light. After 10 seconds, another skeletal warrior died silently, its soul fire extinguished. Soul attacks were difficult to defend against. Lin Moyu continued to take out skeletal warriors from his summon space to replenish the losses. Every 10 seconds, a skeletal warrior would die. It seemed the Soul Devour Insect Mother was determined to engage Lin Moyu in a war of attrition. Throughout the entire secret realm, soul energy flowed slowly. This soul energy had accumulated over countless years. Lin Moyu tried using Soul Blaze. But the spirit shield was too formidable, preventing the skill from locking on a target within it. Not only Soul Blaze, but even Damage Curse was blocked. The spirit shield was the toughest shield Lin Moyu had ever seen. It was virtually impregnable. The skeletal warriors were picked off one by one. The Soul Devour Insect Mother could attack him, but Lin Moyu couldn't harm it at all. Things could not continue like this. The spirit shield, despite wave-like ripples continuing to ripple on its surface, stood fast. The 4 Soul Devour Insect Guards bore all the attacks. But with the constant supply of soul energy, they didn't have to worry about running out of steam. There seemed to a hue of mockery in their eyes, showing their contempt for Lin Moyu. Skeletal mages, concentrated fire. Lin Moyu willed, and the Lich generals carried out the command simultaneously. The skeletal mages began targeting a single spot, and 1,000 magic spells hit the same area at once. A new change appeared on the spirit shield at once. Previously, there were only rippled. But now, the affected area showed slight distortion. The spirit shield had a dent. It worked. Lin Moyu's eyes lit up. The change was a good sign, indicating that the idea proved effective. Now he had to keep going and push harder. Maybe this was the breakthrough he was waiting for. The skeletal mages continued their concentrated fire. The skeletal warriors joined in, redoubling the assault on that area. However, Lin Moyu gradually noticed that something was wrong. After the initial slight distortion and denting, there were no further changes. Although several minutes had passed, but the spirit shield still stood firm. In the meantime, 20 more skeletal warriors were picked off. Lin Moyu saw blatant derision in the Soul Devour Insect Mother's eyes. It appeared that this method was ineffective. The spirit shield was too tough, making regular attacks useless. If he were to give up and retreat now, Lin Moyu would feel disgruntled. At this time, the entrance twisted and disappeared. The secret realm closed and became a sealed space again. The Soul Devour Insect Mother shut the secret realm to prevent Lin Moyu from escaping. Lin Moyu touched the advanced dungeon escape talisman in his pocket. Even with the secret realm closed, that still wouldn't be enough to trap him here. Since that's the case, then let's give it another try. As he thought this to himself, Lin Moyu stepped up to the shield, and then touched the shield with his finger. Skill. Bone Fangs. White light shone on his fingertip, causing the shield to dent inwards. Bone Fangs possessed incredible penetrating power, capable of piercing even the scales of Dragonkind class users. At this time, the level 30 Bone Fangs, 1,200 in total, concentrated on a single point the size of a fingertip. The skill's attack power might not be higher than that of the skeletal mages' skills, but the same wasn't true for its penetrating power. The shield had a needle-like dent that extended inward for at least half a meter. However, the shield remained sturdy, still holding on without breaking. Lin Moyu cast Bone Fangs continuously, releasing 10 rounds in one go. The white light was blinding. But despite the fierce assault, the shield showed no signs of breaking. When the skill stopped, the white light dissipated with a pop, and the shield instantly reverted to normal. It was still ineffective. Even Bone Fangs couldn't penetrate the shield. Lin Moyu pressed his hand against the shield. Suddenly, he sensed soul aura, and his eyes lit up. He had an idea. The shield contained a large amount of soul energy. At the same time, it also contained the will of the Soul Devour Insect Guards. Then, Soul Blaze burned brightly in Lin Moyu's palm. The previously indestructible shield was instantly set ablaze. A shield made of soul and spirit force feared nothing more than a skill like Soul Blaze that burned soul. The Soul Devour Insect Mother showed a hint of panic in its eyes. It launched a fierce attack against Lin Moyu, trying to stop him. Skill. Soul Frost. The bone armor burst out with dazzling white light, firmly blocking the attack. Lin Moyu maintained Soul Blaze with his right hand, while with his left hand recast the bone armor. The Soul Devour Insect Mother's repeated attacks were all blocked by the bone armor. The Soul Devour Insect Guards screamed like crazy, constantly reinforcing the shield, pumping soul energy into the shield in an attempt to buy time. After a full minute, Soul Blaze finally burned a hole through the shield. Lin Moyu's lips curved into a smile. He was finally able to lock onto the target. Chapter 228. Great Harvest, Primordial Rune. A firelight landed on a Soul Devour Insect Guard, and the Soul Devour Insect Guard unleashed deafening shrieks. At this time, its scales and hairs stood on end, and its massive body trembled violently. In its entire life, it probably never imagined it would be the target of a soul attack. Its shrieks caused the entire spirit shield to shake, and the burned open hole expanded by a large chunk. Lin Moyu willed, and the skeletal mages' attacks instantly shot through the hole. Skill, damage curse. A red light flashed, and the curse seeped in through the hole. The Soul Devour Insect Guard, with its mere 50,000 points in physique, was no match for the onslaught of Soul Blaze, the skeletal mages' barrage of attacks, as well as the damage curse's tenfold damage boost. It was obliterated in the blink of an eye. Consequently, the shield shrank rapidly, losing a quarter of its size. Lin Moyu raised his hand and hammered in the final nail in the coffin. Skill, corpse explosion. The first explosion instantly killed the remaining 3 Soul Devour Insect Guards. At the same time, the Soul Devour Insect Mother sustained a light injury, and it let out a cry. The Soul Devour Insect Guard's physique was weak, and so their health was low. On the other hand, the Soul Devour Insect Mother's physique had reached 200,000 points, making it incredibly resilient. Corpse explosion could only injure it, not kill it. The moment the Soul Devour Insect Guards perished, the spirit shield disappeared without a trace. The skeletal mages' magic spells rained down on the Soul Devour Insect Mother. The skeletal warriors rushed over, brandishing their blades. The Soul Devour Insect Mother trembled, feeling the grip of death upon her. The second explosion struck, and the Soul Devour Insect Mother was injured again. This was followed by the third and fourth explosions. The 4 explosions triggered by the 4 Soul Devour Insect Guards' corpses inflicted considerable damage to the Soul Devour Insect Mother. The Soul Devour Insect Mother convulsed, dropping numerous small mounds. They were all Soul Devour Insect nestling. Subsequently, the secret realm rumbled, and vast amounts of soul energy transformed into streaks of blue light that poured into these nestlings. The nestlings grew rapidly, reaching a height of over 10 meters in just 3 seconds, resembling the small hills Lin Moyu had seen outside. Lin Moyu willed, and the skeletal warriors halted their assault. Since you're tired of living. Lin Moyu guessed the Soul Devour Insect Mother's next move, its skill Super Brooding, which utilized the soul energy within the secret realm to rapidly brood Soul Devour insects. However, it failed to grasp that the more Soul Devour insects it spawned, the faster it would meet its doom. Each Soul Devour insect would become its death warrant. Lin Moyu wasn't the least bit concerned about enemy numbers. The Soul Devour Insect Mother used its final skill. The hills exploded, and giant Soul Devour insects rushed out. These Soul Devour insect were each 6 to 7 meters tall. Though not as large as the Soul Devour Insect King, but they still looked quite impressive. In just a few seconds, nearly 100 giant Soul Devour insects were produced. By this time, the soul energy that had been accumulating in the secret realm for many years was mostly consumed, and the entire secret realm had turned dimmer. Lin Moyu didn't bother using detection to check their attributes. In any case, they were going to die soon anyway. Concentrated fire. The skeletal warriors left the Soul Devour Insect Mother alone and instead turned toward the newly produced giant Soul Devour insects. The skeletal mages' attacks also fell on them. Lin Moyu raised his hand and pointed, and then red light fell down. Skill, damage curse. He didn't bother with the slow curse, but instead focused on quickly killing a single giant Soul Devour insect. So long as he killed one of them, the rest would fall into place. The Soul Devour Insect Mother obviously didn't know this. It glimmered with blue light. Bang! All the skeletons suffered and attacked. Skill, Soul Explosion. However, the skill was of little use, seeing as the Lich Generals cast Legion Heal right after. The Soul Devour Insect Mother suddenly targeted a Lich General. Skill, Soul Frost. That Lich General's Legion Heal was immediately interrupted. Standing there stunned, the Lich General was severely injured and on the brink of death. Lin Moyu was startled and quickly retrieved it. If the Soul Devour Insect Mother's attack had been a bit stronger, the Lich General would have died. When the Lich General was retrieved, its associated Undead Legion vanished too. The Soul Devour Insect Mother, as if she saw hope at the end of the tunnel, began to target the other Lich Generals. At the same time, it commanded the giant Soul Devour insects to pay the skeletons no mind and charge at the Lich Generals. Dream on. Lin Moyu barked softly and ran to face one of the giant Soul Devour insects, and then pointed at it from up close, and his fingertip flashed with white light. Skill, Bone Fangs. Within nearly 3 seconds, Lin Moyu unleashed at least 5 rounds of Bone Fangs in a row. A total of 6,000 Bone Fangs hit their target at close range, dealing devastating damage. The skeletal warriors unleashed their skill, while the skeletal mages released concentrated fire, and all the damage was amplified tenfold by damage curse. The giant soul devour insect was killed in an instant. The soul devour insect mother emitted intense screeching, finally appearing to sense the danger of death. But it was too late. Explosions rose one after another, drowning out its cries. The giant soul devour insect produced by super brooding each became a death warrant to the soul devour insect mother. Booming explosions echoed throughout the secret realm. After 1 minute, the explosions finally ceased. By this time, the soul devour insect mother was already dead. Killed soul devour insect mother, EXP plus 5,600,000. Obtained soul devour insect mother's egg. Obtained soul crystal x10. Obtained soul gem. Soul devour insect mother's egg. An egg of the soul devour insect mother that can be hatched by a beast tamer to become a soul devour insect mother. Soul crystal. One-time use consumable, permanently increases spirit force by 1000 points, no usage restriction. Soul gem. Permanently raises restoration of spirit force by 100 times. The giant soul devour insects brought in a considerable amount of express. But compared to these rewards, it was not worth mentioning. The soul devour insect mother's egg was very valuable. Even Lin Moyu, who didn't have a full grasp regarding such things, was aware that it was quite valuable. It was much more valuable than the desert queen ant's egg he obtained in the Tyrant Desert dungeon. When he took this thing out in the future, it would surely cause a commotion among beast tamers. Soul crystal was a great item. He had previously obtained 5 soul crystals from the soul devour insect king, and now received another 10 from the soul devour insect mother, bringing his total to 15. With this many soul crystals, Lin Moyu's spirit force could be permanently raised by 15,000 points. Lastly, there was soul gem. Lin Moyu never imagined there would be such a treasure in the world, a treasure that could raise your restoration of spirit force by 100 times. While in the meditative state, the restoration of spirit force was usually around 20 times the natural restoration. Even when meditating in the Academy's skill grinding center, it only increased the restoration to about 50 times. In the military skill grinding site, the restoration was higher, roughly 100 times the natural restoration. In other words, after using the soul gem, Lin Moyu's restoration of spirit force would be akin to him being in the military skill grinding site. If it could be used together with the military skill grinding site, he wouldn't have to worry about grinding skills again. Even if it couldn't reach the level of desert fruit, it wouldn't be much slower either. No wonder teacher said that the immemorial battlefield is full of opportunities. I've been here only a couple of days, yet I've already obtained so many treasures. Lin Moyu's heart swelled with joy. At the same time as the soul devour insect mother was killed, a strange change occurred on the immemorial battlefield. The light that enveloped the immemorial battlefield suddenly changed and became chaotic. Many people on the immemorial battlefield raised their heads and looked at the sky. A level 60 old man, who had been tempered by the immemorial battlefield for many years, spoke gravely, "A world rank has been killed." His teammate asked curiously, "Who could possibly kill a world rank boss?" The old man replied, "I wonder that. I would like to know what world rank boss was killed, and what it had dropped. Is it true that world rank bosses will drop special items?" "Of course it is. And those items are quite useful." "Really? Then we should go find a world rank boss too." "Hey," the old man sneered disdainfully, "you think world rank bosses are that easy to find? They are usually hidden in secret realms. It takes a stroke of luck to discover them." And, the old man appeared to recall something, his eyes flashing with a profound shade, "Even if you find one, you might not be able to defeat it. You could end up getting yourself killed instead." In addition to the old man, others who had been adventuring in the immemorial battlefield for years knew what the change meant. Individuals capable of killing a world rank boss shouldn't be trifled with, even if they were from an enemy race. Lin Moyu wasn't aware of the situation outside. After the soul devour insect mother died, the secret realm began to distort and gradually disappeared. In the future, the secret realm might give rise to another soul devour insect mother, which in turn would produce a large number of soul devour insects, as well as a new soul devour insect king. By then, the soul devour insects would occupy large swaths of land once again. This was a never-ending cycle. It was similar to the dimensional battlefield's elemental secret realm, where the elemental queen would reappear after a period of time. Lin Moyu put away his undead legions to let them rest, leaving only 2 skeletons by his side. When the secret realm disappeared completely, Lin Moyu saw an unusual thing, emitting a purple glow, sticking out from the ground at an angle. It looked like a night shield. Lin Moyu summoned his undead legions again, and then approached the item. Bai Yiyuan had warned him that there were many dangerous and strange things on the immemorial battlefield, that he had to be cautious at all times. Lin Moyu used detection, primordial rune, qualification certificate for entering the primordial space. Lin Moyu was visibly excited. According to Bai Yiyuan, the primordial space was one of the greatest opportunities within the immemorial battlefield, where you could obtain all sorts of treasures, skills, and more. However, entering the primordial space was extremely difficult, and its interior was fraught with danger. Bai Yiyuan had once ventured inside and reaped immense benefits. According to him, it was the primordial space that laid the foundation for him to become a godly class user. If he hadn't entered the primordial space back then, he might not have been able to become a godly class user. And according to Meng Anwen, the human race's detection spell came from the primordial space. The detection spell was of great utility and importance to the human race. Unexpectedly, a primal rune was hidden in the Soul Devour insect's lair. Lin Moyu quickly picked up the primal rune, which was inscribed with complex and obscure markings and lines. The primordial rune suddenly merged into his body, and then crimson light ejected out from his body and shot into the sky. All of a sudden, a dagger emerged from the surrounding space and stabbed toward Lin Moyu. Chapter 229, Crimson Light Shooting into the Sky, the Crimson Menace. Accompanied by a clang, the bone armor glowed brilliantly, blocking the dagger. Lin Moyu raised his hand, and red light shone in his palm. Skill, Slow Curse. Under the curse's effect, the attacker was revealed instantly. It was a Dragonkind assassin. The two nearby skeletal warriors, their soul fire ablaze, lunged forward with their blades, but the nimble Dragonkind assassin quickly retreated, evading their assault. The Dragonkind assassin, naturally resistant to curses, wasn't much affected by the slow curse. Skill, Bone Fangs. Lin Moyu pointed with his finger, and pale white light exploded, followed by a torrent of 1,200 bone fangs. The Dragonkind assassin, caught too close, was pierced by the bone fangs in a flash and sent flying backward, screaming in agony. While the Dragonkind assassin was still in midair, the light from a heal skill was already upon it. Looking up, Lin Moyu saw a party of Dragonkind class users flying toward him at top speed. Kill him. The dozen Dragonkind class users, surging with murderous intent, attacked him without hesitation. Crimson light rose from Lin Moyu's body and shot into the sky, lingering there. Lin Moyu knew this light would last for a full 10 days. Bai Yiyuan had explained to him the rules of the primordial rune. Acquiring the rune would trigger crimson light visible from thousands of kilometers away. Everyone in the immemorial battlefield that saw the crimson light would know that he had obtained the primordial rune and would come to seize it. The only way to seize the primordial rune was by killing its holder, causing it to drop again. With the crimson light as guide, it would not be difficult to find the holder. During the period of 10 days, the holder would become a public enemy, having to face a large number of foes. After the 10 days were up and the crimson light had disappeared, only then would the holder completely own the primordial rune. It wasn't easy for any class user to survive 10 days with a target painted on their back. Back in the day, even Bai Yiyuan had struggled quite a bit. And now it was Lin Moyu's turn. In that case, I'll kill however many come at me. Lin Moyu's heart grew cold. He looked at the Dragonkind class users rushing toward him, and a surge of murderous intent rose within him. The Dragonkind class users were already close at hand. Lin Moyu could see the greed and ferocity in their eyes. In their eyes, the level 30 Lin Moyu was as insignificant as a pebble by the road. The undead legions that had been retrieved not long ago were released all at once. The skeletons instantly filled the entire field, surrounding the Dragonkind class users. The Lich generals raised their staves and applied status buffs. In an instant, white light shot forth, enhancing the skeletons. The skeletal warriors swung their blades, while the skeletal mages unleashed a barrage of skills. The countenance of the Dragonkind class users changed drastically, the sudden turn of events throwing them into a disarray. Defense. The leading knight bellowed and activated the mass protection skill, forming a shield that blocked the first wave of attacks. At the same time, Lin Moyu had cast detection on them. The leading Dragonkind knight was level 50, a full 20 levels higher than Lin Moyu, and Dragonkind class users were inherently stronger than human class users of the same level. But in front of Lin Moyu, this seemingly powerful party of Dragonkin class users was nothing. After all, no matter how strong they were no match for the Soul Devour Insect King. Even the Soul Devour Insect King succumbed to the undead legions, let alone them. The massive assault of the skeletons left them stunned. Moments ago, there was only one person, with 2 skeletons by his side. Where did all these skeletons come from? These Dragonkin class users hadn't witnessed the previous battle. They only arrived as the secret realm disappeared, when Lin Moyu obtained the primordial rune, and instinctively assumed that Lin Moyu was just lucky. They were blinded by the allure of the primordial rune. And even though the ambush failed, and the Dragonkin assassin was seriously injured, it still wasn't enough to bring them clarity. Since that was the case, the outcome was already decided. On the ancient battlefield, losing your composure often resulted in death. The skeletal mages unleashed their second wave of attacks, while the skeletal warriors unleashed their skill at the same time, and the knight's mass protection shattered like glass. Skill. Damage curse. Despite the Dragonkin's innate resistance to curses, the damage curse, amplified by Lin Moyu's talent, still raised the damage by 100%. The instant the mass protection was broken, the Dragonkin knight instinctively activated extreme defense. At the same time, the Dragonkin knight roared furiously, radiating brilliant light from all over his body. The light enveloped his party and drew the magic attacks toward him. Skill. Drawing fire. Drawing fire was a level 50 knight high-level skill that could redirect the enemy's ranged attacks to the knight. The Dragonkin knight then followed up with another skill, and faint light appeared above the heads of the surrounding skeletons, compelling them to target him. Skill. Group taunt. In less than 1 second, the Dragonkin knight released 3 skills in a row. He acted as a tank and attracted the majority of the firepower. In Lin Moyu's eyes, the Dragonkin knight was indeed an excellent, qualified knight. With extreme defense activated, it made the Dragonkin knight an impenetrable fortress, hardly taking any damage from the 1,000 skeletal mages. Nevertheless, the powerful assault significantly shortened the duration of extreme defense. However, despite the Dragonkin knight putting in a lot of effort to buy time for his party, it was all to no avail. Although the skeletal warriors were susceptible to skills, but if given new orders, they could shift targets. The Lich generals quickly issued new orders, causing the skeletal warriors to change targets and attack the other Dragonkin class users again, ignoring the Dragonkin knight. A Dragonkin mage slammed his stave into the ground. Skill. Landslide. The ground, ravaged by the battle, burst apart, causing the skeletal warriors to fall down, buying the Dragonkin class users some time. Run. The Dragonkin knight roared, spearheading an attempt to break through the encirclement. The Dragonkin class users had finally come to their senses, realizing that it was impossible to snatch the primordial rune from Lin Moyu. Their only hope now was to run and escape with their lives. The sky darkened abruptly as a massive number of skeletal warriors leapt into the air, lunging at the Dragonkin class users from all directions. The skeletal warriors, with their agility attribute of 50,000 and the status buffs, were far faster than the Dragonkin class users. Along with a droning sound, Lin Moyu switched the damage curse for the slow curse, significantly reducing the speed of the Dragonkin class users, making escape impossible. Under the effect of the curse, the Dragonkin assassin couldn't escape using stealth. Even when it entered the stealth state, the curse pattern on its head remained, making it an easy target for the skeletons. The 3 mages of the Dragonkin party unleashed a barrage of magic spells, and a rain of fire poured down, whirlwinds materialized around, and an icy storm threatened to freeze the world. The Dragonkin class sewers fought back with all their might, but against the undead legions that could heal and dispel control, their efforts were in vain. The Dragonkin class user party, composed of 1 knight, 1 support, 2 healers, 1 assassin, 4 warriors, and 3 mages, was a fairly standard warrior-mage party. The warriors and knight formed a circle around the mages and supports, desperately defending them from the onslaught of skeletons, while the supports healed them continuously. The assassin made repeated attempts to break through the encirclement, only to fail and sustain injuries instead. The battle's outcome was set in stone from the start. But Lin Moyu, not wanting to waste too much time, joined the fray and locked onto the assassin. He raised his hand, and soul blaze ignited in his palm. Along with a droning sound, the curse was switched once more, changing back from the slow curse to the damage curse. The sudden change in speed caught the Dragonkin class users off guard. At the same time, the Dragonkin assassin let out ear-piercing screams, unable to bear Soul Blaze's excruciating path. The support rushed to heal the assassin. However, Lin Moyu cast Soul Blaze relentlessly. Consequently, a support was forced to focus solely on healing the assassin. Otherwise, under Lin Moyu's relentless assault, the assassin would perish within 5 seconds. Soul Blaze was incredibly effective for attacking a single target. Lin Moyu effectively pinned down one of the healers, putting immense pressure on the remaining one. The Dragonkin Knight's drawing fire skill finally ended, and the skeletal mages focused their firepower on the Dragonkin assassin, who was already in dire straits. The sudden burst of concentrated fire ended the assassin's misery in an instant. Skill. Corpse explosion. Boom. The ensuing explosion was deafening, sending shock waves through the air, which felt like blades against the scales. Apart from the knight and 4 warriors, the rest of the party was wiped out in an instant. What happened? They're all dead. The remaining knight and warriors were still reeling from the shock, unable to comprehend what happened. The rest of their party was wiped out. Another explosion ensued, followed by another and another. 4 explosions rose in a row, claiming the lives of the 4 warriors, leaving only the knight still alive. The knight's extreme defense had crumbled, leaving him severely injured and on the brink of death. Then, red light illuminated his vision, and a skeletal warrior delivered him the final blow. The knight collapsed to the ground, a shade of unwillingness on his face. Lin Moyu watched with indifferent eyes, as if it were a trivial matter. The entire battle lasted no more than a minute. Compared to the fight with the world rank boss, it was a breeze. The military badge released pure white light, and the 6th and 7th stars emerged one after another. Killing 12 high-level Dragonkin class users increased Lin Moyu's military merit by 12,000, bringing his total to 70,000 and promoting him to a 7-star lieutenant. The skeletal warriors quickly stripped the equipment from their fallen enemies before disappearing. Once again, only 2 skeletal warriors remained around Lin Moyu. A level 30 human necromancer, accompanied by 2 level 30 skeletal warriors, they looked weak and harmless. Any random monster on the immemorial battlefield could easily kill them. With the skeletons in tow, Lin Moyu left the devastated area. At this time, crimson light rose into the sky from him, illuminating the sky with a crimson hue. Lin Moyu was like a giant beacon, shining brightly wherever he went and visible from thousands of kilometers away. Shortly after he set out, footsteps could be heard approaching. "Junior," a voice called out, and a group of people came running toward him. Lin Moyu stopped and looked over, noticing that the newcomers were dressed in a uniform, bearing the emblems of Shajing Academy's Chuangshi Institute. Lin Moyu himself was also wearing the Shajing Academy's clothing, identifying them as fellow students. Despite this, Lin Moyu didn't lower his guard. Bai Yiyuan had warned him that on the immemorial battlefield, no one could be fully trusted, including those of the same race and academy. You had to be on high alert at all times. On the immemorial battlefield, Lin Moyu couldn't trust anyone else. Chapter 230, Please stay out of my way. Lin Moyu watched the approaching figures, which stopped 10 meters away from him, with wary eyes. They were also a party of 12. But unlike the Dragonkin party Lin Moyu fought just now, this human party consisted of 2 knights, 1 battle king support, 3 healers, 3 archers, and 3 mages. This was a party that primarily focused on ranged attacks. Lin Moyu sized them up, already calculating in his mind how to respond were they to attack him. Although they were humans and his seniors at the academy, but he wouldn't show them any mercy. "Hey, Junior, why did you come to the immemorial battlefield at level 30? The battle king support, who led the party, stepped forward and uttered with a friendly smile. Lin Moyu didn't answer but instead asked, "What do you want?" The battle king support subconsciously wrinkled his eyebrows. This junior wasn't really the talkative sort. Nevertheless, he still uttered patiently, "Junior, you're a student of the Shajing Academy, right? We're from the Chuangshi Institute. My name is Ling Yijian." "I see. What do you want?" Seeing that Lin Moyu was still like this, Ling Yijian showed a hint of displeasure on his face. "Junior, do you realize you're in grave danger right now?" Lin Moyu looked up at the scarlet light shooting into the sky. "I'm aware." Ling Yijian continued to say, "Junior, we can protect you. We can help you get through the 10-day period." Lin Moyu shook his head. "Thanks, but there's no need. I'm leaving. Please stay out of my way." Lin Moyu didn't even bother to learn their names. After he was done speaking, he turned and left. Protection. Did he need other people's protection? For the next 10 days, he aimed to avoid contact with people as much as possible. If they were foes, things would be simple. But since they were also humans, he couldn't initiate an attack. Keeping his distance was the best solution. "Junior, you'll die like this," Ling Yijian called after him. Ignoring him, Lin Moyu swiftly walked away and disappeared from sight, leaving only the scarlet light shooting into the sky. With the scarlet light serving as a beacon, they could go after him at any time. A knight said to Ling Yijian, "Party leader, this kid seems quite arrogant." Ling Yijian nodded, he might be some prodigy. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come to the immemorial battlefield at level 30. The knight sneered, "This kid is really lucky. He actually obtained the primordial rune. It's a shame we weren't the ones to acquire it." Ling Yijian raised his eyebrows, his voice dropping to a low hiss, "Don't even think about it. After all, he is a fellow human, and our junior at that." The knight smiled, "Of course, I know that. I wouldn't lay a finger on him. But without our protection, he won't last long out there. To roam the immemorial battlefield alone at level 30, does he think he's a level 60 class user?" The other knight joined the conversation, "I noticed his eyes earlier. This kid must not be a simple character." Ling Yijian nodded, "He's wary of us. Clearly, he knows about the primordial rune. Someone like that must come from an extraordinary background. I suspect he has left a soul brand, so even if he dies, he can be resurrected. If that's really the case, and we attack him." Everyone understood immediately. Lin Moyu could die, and some of them might even wish for his death, but they couldn't be the ones to kill him. They intended to wait and play the role of the Oriole from the Shenxian saying, "The mantis stalks the cicada," unaware of the Oriole behind. After a while, Lin Moyu left the range of the Soul Devour insect territory, and the ground flattened out beneath his feet. He found a suitable spot, built a bonfire, and set up a grill with practiced ease, and then fetched out some skewered meat from his storage space and started grilling it over the bonfire. Two skeletons stood by the bonfire, helping Lin Moyu turn the skewers. The firelight danced on his face, reminding him of the times he shared grilled meat with Ning Yi on the dimensional battlefield, and a pang of longing washed over him. Where did that girl go? How long will her family's mission take? Lin Moyu murmured to himself. Lin Moyu took out a soul crystal and gently stimulated it with his spirit force, and then the soul crystal melted, seeping into his skin like liquid. He focused on his spirit attribute, watching it climb rapidly. The effect was undeniable. Within seconds, his base spirit attribute increased by 1,000 points, rising from 4,000 to 5,000 points. The soul crystal's effect was exceptional. The entire process took less than 5 seconds, with no discomfort. It performed exactly as detection had indicated. Lin Moyu continued to activate the soul crystals one after another, raising his spirit force further. Within just 2 short minutes, he had used up all 15 soul crystals, causing his base spirit attribute to soar from 4,000 to 19,000 points. With the additional boost from his equipment, his total spirit force reached a staggering 22,000 points, making him standing head and shoulder above other level 30 class users. Next was the soul gem's turn. Compared to the soul crystals, its effect was 100 times better. It increased natural restoration of spirit force by 100 times. Whether for skill grinding or engaging in extended combat, the benefits were undeniable. With the crimson light still painting the sky, he knew the next 10 days would see a surge in unwelcome visitors, Dragonkin class users, abyssal demons, and possibly even human class users. The allure of the primordial rune was simply irresistible. Fights would find Lin Moyu one after another, leaving him with scarcely a minute to rest. However, with the soul gem, Lin Moyu wouldn't have to worry about his spirit force running out. Furthermore, he still had a reserve of 8 fatigue potions. He felt confident in his ability to engage in combat for 10 days straight. The soul gem resembled a flawless piece of blue jade, radiating an ethereal glow. After admiring the soul gem for a brief moment, Lin Moyu decisively activated it. His spirit force enveloped the soul gem, causing it to emit a soft popping sound as it transformed into a blue mist. The mist followed his spirit force and flowed into his spirit world. He felt a cool sensation wash over his body. His consciousness plunged into a blue ocean, experiencing comfort and warmth. His previously depleted spirit force began to rapidly replenish itself. Lin Moyu unwittingly entered a meditative state. Within just 5 minutes, he emerged from the meditative space, his spirit force fully restored. Awesome. When he entered the meditative state just now, it felt like he was meditating in the military skill grinding site. Moreover, with his enhanced base spirit attribute, the rate at which his spirit force was restored per unit of time was significantly greater than before. Henceforth, with just a few minutes of meditation, Lin Moyu could restore a large chunk of his spirit force. This was enough to sustain him through battle after battle. Overjoyed by the immense rewards killing the soul-devouring worm mother yielded, Lin Moyu picked up a skewer of grilled meat and prepared to eat. However, his moment of peace was shattered by a flash of white light. The bone armor emerged automatically, preventing him from touching the grilled meat. Something was wrong with the meat. Lin Moyu trusted in the bone armor's judgment. KKK, you unexpectedly have such an impressive defensive skill. A chilling laughter rose, and an abyssal demon appeared in the air. This abyssal demon had a serpent-like head, a spider-like body, and 3 pairs of limbs, looking extremely bizarre. Abyssal Poison Demon. Level 50. Strength 30,000. Agility 20,000. Spirit 30,000. Physique 30,000. Skills: Apply Poison, Toxic Fumes, Stealth. Traits: Formidable Toxicity and Stealth Ability, Immunity to Poison-type damage. It was a level 50 abyssal demon, with a total of 110,000 points in attributes. Among humans, Dragonkind, and abyssal demons, in terms of raw attributes, abyssal demons reigned supreme. Even compared to elite monsters of the same level, abyssal demon boasted superior attributes. Humans and Dragonkind could only compete with abyssal demons in terms of attributes after being fully buffed. This abyssal poison demon could unleash silent, deadly poison and vanish into thin air. If it weren't for his bone armor, Lin Moyu would surely have been poisoned. The abyssal poison demon's arsenal of poisonous skills was limited in number, but each one was very strange and powerful. The abyssal poison demon's eyes gleamed with malice, its forked tongue flicking in and out of its mouth. How in the world did a level 30 small fry manage to get into the immemorial battlefield? And what outrageous fortune brought you the primordial rune? But alas, fate has delivered you to me. Kid, fear courses through your veins, doesn't it? I will kill you, then devour you whole, slowly digesting you. The abyssal poison demon laughed maniacally in the air, convinced that the primordial rune was within his grasp. Lin Moyu frowned. This guy talks too much. He was waiting for the abyssal poison demon to come down. After all, he couldn't fight the enemy in the air. He lacked the ability of flight. Scared stiff, aren't you? Ha ha ha, dying at my hands is your good fortune. Die and become my food. As Lin Moyu waited impatiently, the abyssal poison demon finally swooped down, spewing out poisonous gas. Skill: Toxic Fumes. With a bang, the poisonous gas exploded and turned into green smoke covering an area 100 meters in radius, completely engulfing Lin Moyu. The abyssal poison demon plunged into the smoke. From outside, nothing could be seen inside the poisonous smoke, except for the occasional flicker of faint white light. Chilling screams emanated from the toxic haze. 10 seconds later, Lin Moyu emerged from the poisonous smoke, a look of regret on his face. His bone armor glowed white, keeping the toxic fumes at bay. He regretted losing the grilled meat, now inedible due to the poison. Killed level 50 abyssal poison demon, EXP plus 2 million, military merit plus 2,000. When killing a level 50 abyssal demons, the military merit doubled from 1,000 to 2,000. This was a piece of good news for Lin Moyu, feeling confident that his military merit would significantly increase in the coming days. 5 minutes after Lin Moyu left, the poisonous smoke had dissipated, and Ling Yijian and his party arrived. They had seen the abyssal poison demon from afar, watching him charge into the poisonous smoke and launching a deadly assault on Lin Moyu. But they had chosen not to intervene. In the end, they witnessed Lin Moyu emerge from the toxic fumes by himself. When the poisonous smoke cleared, they hurried over and found the abyssal poison demon's corpse, sliced into pieces, and their eyes widened in disbelief. Ling Yijian and company drew in a sharp breath. What exactly happened here? He's only level 30. How could he kill a level 50 abyssal poison demon? Abyssal poison demons are though nut to crack. Those toxic fumes are really a headache. Does he perhaps have an item that conceals his real level? The entire fight took no more than 10 seconds. That's incredibly fast. Ling Yijian sighed. It seems we underestimated him. He has the qualification to walk the immemorial battlefield. Chapter 231. He is a dragon in sheep's clothing. Being able to kill level 50 abyssal demons, Lin Moyu was naturally qualified to walk the immemorial battlefield. In the upper layer of the immemorial battlefield, the monsters ranged between level 35 and level 65, and there were also monsters above level 65, albeit all bosses. As long as they didn't recklessly provoke high-level monsters and exercised caution, level 50 abyssal demons, humans, and Dragonkin class users could survive in the upper layer. However, being alone wasn't very safe, especially for humans. Level 50 humans couldn't fly yet. Unlike abyssal demons and Dragonkin, who could escape through the air if things turned sour. Lin Moyu found another spot and lit a bonfire to grill meat again. His stomach was still empty and needed to be filled. Ling Yijian and company didn't get close, maintaining a distance of 1,000 meters as they followed him. The primordial rune was extremely precious and rare, they couldn't give up that easily. This time Lin Moyu enjoyed a peaceful meal without any interruptions. Glancing at the dry rations in the storage space, he knew that he might not have another opportunity to leisurely grill meat anytime soon. Just as he rose to his feet, the ground began to shake. Standing atop a small hill, Lin Moyu saw a group of monsters charging toward him. The monsters were of all kinds of shapes and sizes. Lin Moyu unleashed detection a series of times. The monsters ranged from level 37 to level 45. There were hundreds of monsters, and they were clearly targeting him. Weird. Could the monsters in the immemorial battlefield be also interested in the primordial rune? Lin Moyu frowned. Bai Yiyuan hadn't mentioned such a thing. As the crowd of monsters drew closer, Lin Moyu spotted an abyssal demon among them. This abyssal demon was somewhat peculiar. Unlike the grotesque and ugly abyssal demons he had seen so far, this abyssal demon was beautiful, with exquisite facial features. In the human world, she would be considered a rare beauty. Her ears were slightly pointed, her skin was of a slightly darker tone, her figure was graceful and voluptuous, and she had a long tail swaying behind her, adding a touch of exotic charm to her. When Lin Moyu saw her, she saw him too and released a coquettish laugh. The melodious and enchanting sound traveled far, stirring the hearts of all who heard it. At this moment, the bone armor flickered. The coquettish laugh unexpectedly carried a hint of aggression. Lin Moyu released detection. Abyssal succubus. Level 50. Strength 20,000. Agility 20,000. Spirit 50,000. Physique 20,000. Skills: Charm, Spirit Blast. Traits: Dominate creature, effective against creatures that are at least 5 levels below the host, ineffective against leaders and bosses. Lin Moyu felt a chill in his heart. It was actually an abyssal succubus. Just like when Counselor Shu Wei of the Shengxia Empire had fallen under the control of the succubus queen, these monsters seemed to be under her influence. No wonder the highest level of the monsters was only level 45. After all, the succubus could only control creatures that were at least 5 levels below her. The coquettish laugh echoed again, closer this time, and more powerful. The laugh was targeted specifically at him. The succubus posed seductively in the air, facing Lin Moyu, while the bone armor gleamed brightly, blocking all attacks. Lin Moyu remained calm and collected. He pointed with his finger, and while light burst forth. Skill: Bone Fangs. 1,200 pale white fangs hissed through the air. The power of bone fangs, like that of Soul Blaze, depended heavily on Lin Moyu's spirit force. Lin Moyu's spirit force had skyrocketed from 7,000 to 22,000, which was a full 3-fold increase. Consequently, the skill's power had surged significantly, greatly enhancing its speed and penetrating power. In an instant, the fangs traversed 100 meters and reached the abyssal succubus. The succubus let out a panicked scream and dodged swiftly. Although she flew nimbly in the air, but the fangs were too fast and too many for her to evade them all. In the end, she was hit by 3 fangs, and thick, black blood spilled from her wounds. Frightened, she flew high into the air, not daring to go down. "I'll kill you." White light shone once more as Lin Moyu pointed at the succubus. As if shooting at a bird, he unleashed bone fangs repeatedly, forcing the succubus to fly erratically in the air. Ling Yijian and company, located 1,000 meters away, were stunned. Is that an abyssal succubus up there in the sky? It is indeed a succubus. But why does it look like he's just shooting at a bird? What skill is that? It looks awesome. I've never seen it before. To scare a succubus like this, it must be amazing. Succubi themselves aren't that strong. What makes them tricky to deal with are their charm as well as the large number of monsters they bring along. The ground trembled beneath their feet, and their expressions changed drastically. Monsters are coming, and there are a lot of them. He's in big trouble now. Monsters were indeed coming, charging up the hill where Lin Moyu was located. At this time, a Lich General appeared beside him. One was more than enough. Lin Moyu didn't intend to show his hand just yet. With more than 9 days remaining, he decided to pace himself. An undead legion appeared alongside the Lich General, and skeletal warriors rushed down the hill to meet the oncoming monsters, while the skeletal mages unleashed a barrage of concentrated fire. At the same time, a red glow filled the sky. Skill, damage, curse. A blood-red sword pattern appeared above each monster's head. For Lin Moyu, their numbers were meaningless. After casting the curse, he continued to fire bone fangs at the succubus. The abyssal succubus unleashed a roar of frustration, helpless against Lin Moyu's attacks. Her offensive abilities were limited. Besides the spirit blast skill, her strongest asset was charm. However, charm was ineffective against Lin Moyu, and spirit blast couldn't reach him from this distance. Fortunately, the minions under her control had arrived. Drop dead. The abyssal succubus cried out in anger, though her voice sounded like a tender and almost coquettish plea. Upon hearing it, one couldn't help but have a pang of sympathy. Unfortunately for the succubus, Lin Moyu had a heart of stone and remained unaffected. The skeletal warriors clashed with the monsters at the very front. The Lich General struck the ground with its stave, and all the skeletons received status buffs. The skeletal warriors unleashed their skill, while simultaneously, the skeletal mages cast their skill. The monsters at the very front were killed before they could even react. Boom! A blare erupted, and the ground shook violently. The abyssal succubus, flying in the air, was startled. She looked down and was horrified. Most of the monsters under her control were dead, with only a few left standing. Then, 2 more explosions followed, killing the remaining monsters. The abyssal succubus looked at Lin Moyu in horror. Who on earth are you? Lin Moyu smiled faintly, a human class user. Bone fangs packed quite the punch, and after Lin Moyu's spirit force skyrocketed, the skill's power nearly doubled. Lin Moyu had enough of shooting birds. It was time to try out Soul Blaze. When she saw Lin Moyu's expression, the abyssal succubus sensed something was wrong. She screamed and turned to flee. You're not getting away. Lin Moyu raised his hand, and a flame ignited in his palm. Subsequently, a tiny spark landed on the abyssal succubus's head, causing unbearable pain that reached her soul. The succubus screamed and nearly fell from the sky. Enduring the agonizing pain, she flew away at her fastest speed without looking back. Lin Moyu's eyes revealed a shade of satisfaction. The effect was excellent. He unleashed Soul Blaze once more, and the abyssal succubus screamed in pain again, visibly trembling. But she didn't dare to stop, aware that to stop would mean death, not just pain. After flying for 1,000 meters, the succubus left the range of Lin Moyu's skill and finally breathed a sigh of relief. That guy is too scary. The succubus thought to herself, imprinting Lin Moyu's image in her mind. He was clearly only level 30, yet he could kill her as easily as if she were a chicken. And the dozens of monsters she drummed up painstakingly were dealt with swiftly. Those hundreds of skeletons, that terrifying group attack skill. I must report this to the Demon Queen. This human is too dangerous, we must exercise caution. The succubus fled further and further away, eventually disappearing into the horizon. Lin Moyu sighed. If the succubus didn't come down, there wasn't much he could do about her. If only he could fly. After retrieving his undead legion, Lin Moyu continued toward the center of the immemorial battlefield, accompanied by 2 skeletons. He wasn't sure where the primordial space was located, but after 10 days, he would find out. At that time, the primordial rune would guide him. His current objective was the Divine Selection secret realm in the central area, where he could attain divinity. As Bai Yiyuan had mentioned, obtaining divinity earlier would yield better results. By this time, Lin Moyu's express had already reached 45%. If things continued in the same vein, he might level up by the time he reached the central area. Additionally, he needed to search for the Divine Selection secret realm's location within the central area. He wasn't sure how much time this would take. In just a few days on the immemorial battlefield, many changes had occurred. Initially, his objective was the Divine Selection secret realm and demonic Dragon Hall dungeon. Now he had a new goal, the primordial space. Under the scarlet light, Lin Moyu marched forward fearlessly. Following behind Lin Moyu, Ling Yijian and company arrived at the small hill where Lin Moyu had been previously. They saw the many monster corpses scattered at the foot of the hill. How did he do it? I have no clue. Neither have I. This fight lasted 5 minutes at most. Party leader, if it were us instead, do you think we could manage it? Ling Yijian's lips twitched. Not a chance. Even if they could kill those monsters, it would require major effort, especially with the succubus in the air. It would take at least half an hour. Ling Yijian was confident in his party's combat power, but he tempered his confidence with caution. On the immemorial battlefield, overconfidence was a death sentence. Then someone asked, "Party leader, we didn't see the Soul Devour Insect King in its territory earlier. Do you think?" Ling Yijian was suddenly taken aback, his expression changing rapidly. Now that he thought about it, it was indeed a possibility. If Lin Moyu really killed the Soul Devour Insect King, then his real strength. He is a dragon in sheep's clothing. One could very well imagine what fate awaited those who chased after the primordial rune. Chapter 232, Level 58 World Rank Boss, Earth Evil Centipede. Ling Yijian and company continued to follow behind Lin Moyu. By this time, their way of thinking had undergone a complete transformation. They no longer entertained any thoughts of being the Oriole from the Shenxian saying, "The mantis stalks the cicada," unaware of the Oriole behind. At this time, they just wanted to watch how Lin Moyu forged ahead. Ling Yijian suspected that Lin Moyu was pretending to be weak, maintaining the facade of a mere level 30 class user. He believed Lin Moyu was waiting for those unaware of the truth to walk into his trap. "I hope no one of our human race messes with him." Another thought crossed his mind. He hoped no human would attack Lin Moyu. After all, given Lin Moyu's character and methods, he wouldn't show any mercy. Ling Yijian had already forgotten that he too once harbored such designs. Thinking about it now, it was fortunate that he didn't mess with Lin Moyu, or else his entire party probably would no longer exist. While he was immersed in his thoughts, he turned a corner and suddenly stopped. Lin Moyu was standing right in front of him, as if he were waiting for him. Ling Yijian swallowed. "Junior, what a coincidence." The others looked at their party leader strangely, not expecting him to exhibit such behavior. Lin Moyu asked, "Senior, how do I get to the central area of the upper layer?" Lin Moyu knew that Ling Yijian and company had been following him all along. His immense spirit force made his senses very keen. Unless they had the stealth skill, it wasn't easy to hide from his senses. As for the intentions of Ling Yijian and company, it wasn't hard to guess. Lin Moyu didn't mind them. As long as they didn't provoke him, he wouldn't bother with them. Faced with Lin Moyu's question, Ling Yijian pointed in a direction. "It's that way." "Thank you, senior," Lin Moyu replied politely. With that, he turned and left, accompanied by two skeletons. The clicking sounds produced by the skeletons inexplicably made Ling Yijian feel a bit uneasy. After Lin Moyu left, Ling Yijian couldn't help but ask himself, "Why am I afraid of him?" After thinking about it again and again, Ling Yijian still couldn't come up with an answer. Perhaps the things he witnessed Lin Moyu do had subtly influenced him. "Party leader, since we aren't after the primordial rune, why are we still following him?" Some teammates didn't quite understand what Ling Yijian was after. After some consideration, Ling Yijian declared, "I want to witness history." Lin Moyu proceeded ahead. The light from the primordial rune was like a beacon, attracting a lot of attention. As he kept moving forward, the range kept expanding, drawing more and more attention. A Dragonkin party, just a party of 6, came over. When they saw Lin Moyu, who was only level 30, their eyes surged with a bloodthirsty shade. To begin with, human and Dragonkin class users were enemies, destined to fight each other on sight. Moreover, since Lin Moyu had the primordial rune, they had even more reason to kill him. They swooped down from the sky, completely dismissing Lin Moyu, a mere level 30 class user. Subsequently, a curse descended on them, batches of bone fangs stabbed into them, skeletal warriors severed their wings, and skeletal mages drowned them in magic spells. In less than 2 minutes, the Dragonkin party was completely annihilated. The 2 minutes were bought by the Dragonkin knight's defensive skills. When his defense was broken, it spelled death to the entire party. The skeletons quickly stripped the equipment off the dead bodies, their actions practiced and precise, showing that Lin Moyu had done this many times before. Moreover, Lin Moyu had only summoned a single undead legion, showing minimal effort. For 3 consecutive days, as if flies drawn to the scent of meat, Dragonkin parties and abyssal demon groups flew over one after another, only to perish. Unbeknownst to him, Lin Moyu's military badge turned gold. He had finally amassed 100,000 military merit and reached the colonel rank, albeit without any stars. To reach the first star in the colonel rank, he would need 1 million military merit. In the private rank, each star required 100 military merit, while in the lieutenant rank, each star required 10,000 military merit. In the colonel rank, 1 million military merit were necessary to acquire each star. For high-level abyssal demons ranging between level 40 and level 50, 1,000 had to be slain to gain 1 star in the colonel rank. As for demons above level 50, which were worth 2,000 military merit each, 500 had to be slain. In this manner, by accumulating military merit continuously, one would eventually reach the godly general rank. However, that was an impossible task for ordinary class users. In the Shengxia Empire, there were very few godly generals. Not to mention godly generals, even high-star colonels were rare. At this moment, Lin Moyu's military merit had reached 103,000. He still had a long way to go before he could become a 1-star colonel. Although he had yet to earn a star, but the gold colonel rank already qualified him to enter the 6th, 7th, and 8th fortresses. The battlefields outside these fortresses were teeming with demons, making it easier to earn military merit. As he got closer to the central area, the number of monsters Lin Moyu encountered along the way increased, and their level rose rapidly. By the 4th day, the level of monsters he met had already exceeded level 45. Some even reached level 50. According to Bai Yiyuan, in the central region, monsters above level 55 were commonplace. These powerful and hazardous creatures caused Bai Yiyuan considerable trouble in the past. With this in mind, Lin Moyu remained vigilant. Ling Yizhan had followed him for 3 days, witnessing firsthand how Lin Moyu pushed through every obstacle. Whether it was abyssal demons or Dragonkind class user parties, none could last more than 5 minutes. During these 3 days, human class users had also appeared. However, upon seeing that Lin Moyu was a fellow human, they quickly retreated, showing no intention of fighting. The vast majority of humans were very united. Otherwise, under the assault of the abyssal demons, they could not have persevered until today. Strange, how come there is no one today? Lin Moyu wondered. For 3 days in a row, there had been a constant influx of opponents. But on the 4th day, Lin Moyu didn't see so much as a shadow. It was quite strange. Not only did Lin Moyu find it strange, but so did Ling Yizhan and company following behind him. Half a day had passed already, yet neither abyssal demons nor Dragonkind class users had shown up so far. Something isn't right. In addition, there were also no monsters. Lin Moyu hadn't encountered a single monster in the past 2 hours. This was highly unusual. Lin Moyu became alert at once. Ling Yizhan and his party, who had been following Lin Moyu from afar, also sensed that something was amiss. They were experienced veterans with nearly 2 years on the immemorial battlefield, and knew many of the battlefield's secrets. The immemorial battlefield seemed to be in a state of flux, with many changes having taken place in the past few decades. People like Bai Yiyuan, who hadn't been to the immemorial battlefield for many years, wouldn't know about these changes. The current situation made Ling Yizhan think of a possibility. Retreat. Ling Yizhan roared and quickly darted the way they came. His teammates complied and retreated without hesitation. Someone seemed to have a realization. Party leader, do you think this is its territory? Ling Yizhan nodded. Yes, that's the only possibility. Look at that distant mountain in the distance, doesn't it look suspicious? About 1,000 meters away stood a 100-meter tall mountain. But upon closer inspection, something seemed off about it. The mountain was smooth, unnaturally so. Then what about him? Ling Yizhan looked at Lin Moyu and shouted, "There's danger here. Get out of here quickly." By then, he had already run far away, noticing that Lin Moyu showed no reaction. Ling Yizhan's eyes flashed with a shade of indecision. "You guys leave first. I'll go warn him." With that, he turned and ran back. He quickly reached Lin Moyu's side. "There's danger here. We need to leave now." Danger. Lin Moyu had already realized that something was off. Just then, there was a rumbling noise, and the ground began to shake violently, as if it were an earthquake. Ling Yizhan's face turned ashen. "Damn it, it's too late." Footsteps sounded as Ling Yizhan's teammates hurried back. Ling Yizhan exclaimed, "Why have you come back?" The teammates replied heartily. "Party leader, we can't leave you alone here." "Exactly. We came together, so we'll leave together. We're fellow students as well as comrades in arms, we can't just leave you behind." Though they spoke casually, but the serious look in their eyes betrayed their readiness to fight to the death. The mountain 100 meters away suddenly exploded, and boulders hurtled forward as if meteors. Not only were they fast, but they also contained incredibly force. The two skeletal warriors were struck at the same time and sent flying, and then were retrieved by Lin Moyu. A boulder slammed into Lin Moyu, but it was blocked by the bone armor, which creaked under the immense force. It was unlike anything generated by a mountain explosion. Defend, Ling Yijian shouted. Skill, mass protection. A knight activated a skill, summoning a shield to deflect the incoming boulders. The shield buckled under the impact of a boulder, appearing on the verge of collapse. The knight gritted his teeth and maintained the skill. When the mountain exploded, Lin Moyu saw a colossal monster emerge. Half of its body was hidden underground, while the other half towered above ground, standing 70 to 80 meters tall. The monster resembled a centipede, with dozens of legs waving in the air. Moments ago, the monster was hidden inside the mountain. Its movement triggered the mountain's explosion. Earth Evil Centipede. Ling Yijian's face turned pale, his hands trembling slightly. Chapter 233. Step back, or you'll get caught in the crossfire. What a gigantic monster! Lin Moyu was shocked in his heart. The exposed part alone was 70 to 80 meters long. If its entire body was revealed, it would probably be nearly 200 meters. This was the largest monster he had seen so far. Generally speaking, the size of a monster determined its power level. Such a colossal creature was undoubtedly a boss. Violent winds surged and brought a foul stench, making it difficult to breathe. The space they were in had been cut off, turning into a sealed-off world spanning thousands of meters. That world gradually separated from the immemorial battlefield, forming a space akin to a secret realm. By this time, despair had seeped into the eyes of Ling Yijian and the others. It's really the Earth Evil Centipede. We're doomed. Who would have thought we would meet our end by the Earth Evil Centipede's hands? Staring at the boss some distance away, Ling Yijian felt a chill go down his spine. Don't you guys feel like the abyssal demons the past 2 days had been leading us in this direction? Now that Ling Yijian mentioned it, it really did seem to be the case. Lin Moyu reflected on the events of the past 2 days. Wave after wave of abyssal demons had come to him, each time slightly altering his path until he ended up here. Someone had deliberately guided him, and he hadn't even noticed. High up in the sky, thousands of meters above the Earth Evil Centipede, the succubus who had barely escaped from Lin Moyu's grasp was holding a black gem. The image of the succubus queen was projected on the gem. The succubus queen's alluring and seductive voice sounded, "Alice, did it succeed?" The succubus called Alice nodded vigorously, "Great Queen, it was a success. Lin Moyu has entered the territory of the Earth Evil Centipede, and the Earth Evil Centipede has already awakened. He is done for." The succubus queen laughed charmingly, "Well done. He is the top genius of the human race in this generation. If he dies today on the immemorial battlefield, then even if he is resurrected, he will never be a genius again. Once he dies, the Earth Evil Centipede will relocate. When that happens, go and retrieve the primordial rune. Remember not to touch it." Alice replied respectfully, "I shall obey, Great Queen." The image on the black gem disappeared. Alice put away the black gem, then looked in the direction of the Earth Evil Centipede. She could still faintly see Lin Moyu's figure. She slowly twisted her slender waist, and the tail behind her swayed back and forth rapidly with agitation, a mixture of fear and hatred in her pretty eyes. "You're dead." The Earth Evil Centipede that just awakened was still roaring. Ling Yijian spoke quickly, "The Earth Evil Centipede is a terrifying boss of the immemorial battlefield. Ordinarily, it remains in a state of slumber. It only awakens when it needs to eat or when someone approaches it. Once it awakens, it transforms the surrounding area into a secret realm, and all the living beings in the secret realm will become its food." Lin Moyu nodded, and then used detection. Earth Evil Centipede World Boss. Level 58. Strength 120,000. Agility 120,000. Spirit 80,000. Physique 120,000. Skills: Deadly Toxic Fog, Slice and Dice, Swipe. Traits: Poison Elemental Immunity, Physical damage reduced by 30%, Elemental damage reduced by 30%. Its overall attributes reached 440,000 points, surpassing those of the level 55 Soul Devour Insect King by 140,000 and those of the level 56 Soul Devour Insect Mother by 40,000 points, far exceeding those of the Skeletal Warriors. Considering the unique nature of the Soul Devour Insect Mother, it couldn't be used as a reliable point of comparison. As for the Soul Devour Insect King, it paled in comparison with the Earth Evil Centipede. However, to say that the Earth Evil Centipede couldn't be defeated. Lin Moyu didn't think so. He was totally up for giving it a try. What are the benefits of killing it? Lin Moyu asked in a low voice. Lin Yijian was taken aback by Lin Moyu's unexpected question. When he looked into Lin Moyu's eyes, he didn't see panic, but rather eager anticipation. Lin Yijian felt that Lin Moyu was a madman, and he found himself swept along in his madness. He gritted his teeth and said, "The Earth Evil Centipede is a world rank boss, and it will indeed drop some special items, the most useful of which is Poison Gem." "Oh, what is its use?" Lin Moyu asked, his interest already piqued. Lin Yijian uttered, "I'm not exactly sure, but Poison Gem is definitely very useful. But the Earth Evil Centipede is too difficult to kill. After all, it is a world rank boss." World rank bosses were indeed difficult to kill, and Lin Moyu had only defeated a few before. From the Tyrant Desert Dungeon's Lionman Tyrant to the Dimensional Battlefield's Battlefield Ghost King, and to the Soul Devour Insect Mother from a couple of days ago, Lin Moyu had dealt with them all. Although the Earth Evil Centipede in front of him looked formidable, but if they were to fight. The eyes of Lin Yijian and the others revealed a hue of despair, but even more were tinged with the determination to fight to the death. As Shenxians, as students of the Shajing Academy, and as students of the Chuangshi Institute, they couldn't just lay down their arms and await their end. Even if they had to die, they would die in battle, tearing a piece of flesh from the Earth Evil Centipede before their inevitable end. Their fighting spirit was burning fiercely. Lin Yijian gripped his night sword tightly. "Junior, let's fight the Earth Evil Centipede together." Lin Moyu shook his head. "You guys should retreat, the farther, the better." Lin Yijian was taken aback, wondering what Lin Moyu meant by this. Scree! A sharp cry rang out. The Earth Evil Centipede fully awakened. It leapt out of the ground, its insect legs the size of stone pillars propelling it forward. Defense! Lin Yijian's expression changed drastically, and he quickly took his place in the party. Lin Moyu pressed his hand down, covering himself in the bone armor. Bang, bang, bang. There were many insect legs, as many as 50 or 60 pairs, sweeping through as if an autumn wind scattering leaves, incredibly fast. The bone armor issued sharp sounds, its durability rapidly decreasing. The Earth Evil Centipede's assault was incredibly powerful, its 120,000 points in the strength attribute not to be underestimated. A single attack nearly smashed the bone armor. Lin Moyu quickly recast bone armor and looked at Lin Yijian and the others. They had been attacked alongside him, thrown tens of meters away, and crashed into the ground, cutting a sorry figure. The healer strained to his feet and began to treat everyone, his expression a mask of overwhelming shock. These people were only around level 50, how could they face a level 58 world boss? This was a hopeless situation. Lin Yijian got onto his feet with difficulty, seriously injured by the earlier cry. "Step back, or you'll get caught in the crossfire." Lin Moyu's faint voice sounded. Then, before Lin Yijian and his companions, Lin Moyu raised his hand, and overwhelming red light descended. Skill. Slow curse. The rampaging Earth Evil Centipede suddenly slowed down. To their surprise, Lin Yijian and his companions also found themselves moving sluggishly. They weren't Lin Moyu's teammates. And since the slow curse skill had a wide range, they were ensnared as well. Remove the curse. Lin Yijian understood Lin Moyu's intentions. The healer promptly dispelled the curse. By now, the Earth Evil Centipede had fixed its attention on Lin Moyu, the audacious small fry who cursed it. As for Lin Yijian's group, they were hardly worth notice. Taking advantage of the distraction, Lin Yijian and the others seized the opportunity to retreat, getting further and further away. As they retreated, Lin Yijian kept a close eye on Lin Moyu, wondering how he would deal with this situation. All of a sudden, 10 Lich generals appeared, followed by their undead legions. The Lich generals raised their staves high, and white light shot into the sky, strengthening the legions. The attributes of all skeletons saw a substantial increase. There are so many. Lin Yijian and his group were taken aback. They knew Lin Moyu could summon undead troops, they had witnessed it over the past few days. However, until now, he had only summoned a small force of 300 skeletons. Seeing so many skeletons, each one extremely strong, Lin Yijian and his group, who had been in despair, felt their hope being rekindled. The skeletal warriors charged toward the Earth Evil Centipede en masse. Even though it was a world boss, the skeletons showed no fear. The skeletal mages' skills were already raining down on the Earth Evil Centipede. With its elemental damage reduced by 30% trait and sturdy carapace, the damage caused by the attacks of the skeletal mages wasn't particularly high. Affected by the curse, the Earth Evil Centipede's speed had slowed by a staggering 60 times. Struggling to adapt to the current speed, it glared angrily at Lin Moyu, the instigator of its discomfort, and roared in rage. The Earth Evil Centipede ignored the attacks of the skeletal mages and charged straight at Lin Moyu. In its view, the curse was more annoying than the magic attacks. With its immense strength, it effortlessly knocked aside the skeletal warriors that stood in its way. This wasn't the effect of a skill but rather the sheer display of crushing power. The Earth Evil Centipede swung its numerous giant insect-like legs as if blades, overwhelming the skeletal warriors with its immense strength of 120,000 points, pushing them back and inflicting injuries. The Lich generals cast Legion Heal to heal the skeletons. Lin Moyu wasn't idle either. Faced with such a powerful world boss, he naturally couldn't afford to just stand by. A flame burned in his palm. Skill, Soul Blaze. The Earth Evil Centipede let out a piercing screech, writhing with unprecedented pain, and its eyes filled with intensified hatred as it rammed into Lin Moyu with colossal force. Chapter 234. The level is still too low. The bone armor erupted with dazzling white light, its brightness directly proportional to the damage it endured. Enveloped by white light, Lin Moyu heard cracking sounds and saw a web of cracks spread over the bone armor. The Earth Evil Centipede's attack was incredibly powerful, only surpassed by the attack of the Fire Demon King. The bone armor could only withstand one hit. A second attack would shatter it. The Earth Evil Centipede possessed formidable attack power and equally formidable defense. Its physical damage reduced by 30% and elemental damage reduced by 30% traits proved a major headache, rendering the Lich General's status buffs useless. Ultimately, Lin Moyu felt that his level was too low. Confronting the Earth Evil Centipede at level 30 placed him at a great disadvantage. Had he been level 40 and undergone the second-class awakening, things would have been much easier. However, with the fight underway, there was no point lamenting things now. Lin Moyu swiftly recast the bone armor, acting as a tank to divert the Earth Evil Centipede's attacks. The skeletal warriors capitalized on the distraction and climbed onto the Earth Evil Centipede's massive body, and their blades descended like hammer on anvil, creating a cacophony of din. These ordinary attacks failed to inflict significant damage to the Earth Evil Centipede. The skeletal warriors, as directed by Lin Moyu, didn't use their skill. Simultaneously, Soul Blaze struck again and again, each blow causing the Earth Evil Centipede to howl in agony. The relentless assault inflamed its hatred for Lin Moyu, causing it to completely disregard the skeletal warriors crawling all over its body. The Earth Evil Centipede also ignored the attacks of the skeletal mages, its sole focus now on eliminating Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu repeatedly reapplied the bone armor. With his spirit force now aplenty, and its restoration rate astonishingly high, he could sustain this consumption. If it were before, this would have been impossible. Ling Yijian and the others watched in shock. You can fight the Earth Evil Centipede like this? What exactly is his class? It's tougher than Night. What an incredible tank. Party leader, if it were us, how many hits could we withstand? Ling Yijian snapped, how many hits? We would be dead already. Enough with the chatter. Quickly fall back, move to the edge. Don't forget about the Earth Evil Centipede's skills. The others were startled and hurriedly retreated. The Earth Evil Centipede's skills. The foremost as well as the largest pair of its insect legs suddenly burst forth with dazzling light. Skill, Slice and Dice. The insect legs turned into unstoppable blades, slicing wildly at Lin Moyu. The bone armor unleashed a series of clanging sounds, pushed to the brink of its resilience in the blink of an eye. The skill's attack power was immense. Lin Moyu's eyes remained calm and composed as he recast bone armor repeatedly, blocking the Earth Evil Centipede's assault 3 times in a row. Finally, the skeletal warriors were all in place, covering every inch of the Earth Evil Centipede's back. At least 1,000 skeletal warriors had climbed onto the 100-meter-long Earth Evil Centipede. With a flash of red light, the slow curse changed to damage curse, amplifying damage tenfold. At the same time, Lin Moyu issued a command. Skill, Berserk Strike. The 1,000 skeletal warriors unleashed their skills simultaneously, combined with the damage curse, instantly breaking the Earth Evil Centipede's carapace and riddling its body with wounds. Simultaneously, the skeletal mages' attacks arrived. With the damage curse's tenfold amplification, the skeletal mages' assault caused substantial damage. Lin Moyu wasn't idle either. He raised his hand and aimed at the Earth Evil Centipede, his fingers poised like a gun. Skill. Bone Fangs. Bone Fangs erupted at close range. A total of 1,200 bone fangs stabbed into the Earth Evil Centipede and then exited on the other side, spilling copious amounts of blood. Individually, each bone fang inflicted less damage than Soul Blaze. However, when combined and unleashed at close range, their collective damage far exceeded that of Soul Blaze. The 1,200 bone spikes all hit the Earth Evil Centipede, not a single one missed. Wave after wave, bone fangs continued to eject out, punching bloody holes into its body. The Earth Evil Centipede howled in agony and then spun wildly. Skill. Swipe. The Earth Evil Centipede spun like a spinning top, flinging off most of the skeletal warriors covering its body. The skeletal warriors on the ground were also knocked into the air. Battered by an immense force, the skeletal warriors were injured one after another. The Lich General swiftly provided treatment, ensuring the ability of the skeletons to continue fighting. The Earth Evil Centipede was now covered in wounds, looking pitiful and miserable. It let out a furious roar, and green poisonous fog sprayed out from all over its body. Skill. Deadly Toxic Fog. The poisonous fog spread over an area more than 1,000 meters in radius. As the Earth Evil Centipede moved, the range of the poisonous fog shifted, causing the ground within it to decay and dissolve. The toxicity of the poisonous fog was tremendous. Standing within the poisonous fog, Lin Moyu's bone armor gleamed, barely under any pressure. What seemed like a formidable attack was, in his eyes, less threatening than the Earth Evil Centipede's direct strikes. The presence of elemental resistance reduced elemental damage by 4 times. The same was true for the skeletons. Although they kept taking poison elemental damage, the Lich General's treatment ensured they weren't in any real danger. The skeletons were more vulnerable to powerful single-target attacks that could instantly deal massive damage or even kill them outright. Sustained damage was more dangerous before Lin Moyu had reached level 30. But now, with the Lich General's support, it was almost negligible. And besides, the Lich General's physique had reached 100,000, making them harder to kill than the skeletons. The skeletal warriors that were flung away charged back into the fray, while the skeletal mages' attacks never ceased and Lin Moyu's palm continued to burn with fire, repeatedly assaulting the Earth Evil Centipede with Soul Blaze. Ling Yijian and his party, standing at the edge of the sealed space, swallowed nervously. The fog obscured their view, so they couldn't see what was going inside. But they could hear the Earth Evil Centipede's constant roars. The battle raged on. All they could do was pray that Lin Moyu would persevere. Otherwise, both he and they would die. Even though they couldn't see the battle, but Ling Yijian and his party still kept their eyes fixed on the poisonous fog, not daring to relax for even a moment. Can he pull through? At this point, we have no choice but to believe in him. Party leader, do you regret coming back? We could have run away earlier. Regret. Ling Yijian immediately had an answer. I don't regret it. Even though I had some questionable thoughts at first, I soon saw the light. We are all human and should look out for and help each other. Besides, he is our junior. If there's a battle, as the senior, I should be leading from the front. At this moment, a knight laughed heartily and said, "What are you talking about? If anyone should be leading from the front, it should be us. Although you are the party leader, but as a support, you should be at the back." The group burst out laughing, as if they had put the danger out of their minds for the time being. Within the poisonous fog, the Earth Evil Centipede grew increasingly frenzied. Suddenly, it lunged at a skeletal warrior, a pair of its front insect legs glowing brightly. Skill. Slice and dice. Its front legs, as if expert blades, cut the skeletal warrior into pieces in an instant. Lin Moyu sighed inwardly. Finally, it had noticed. He had intentionally drawn its attention because he knew from the start that its single-target skill could kill the skeletal warriors in one strike. That was why he acted as a tank. After swiftly dispatching a skeletal warrior, the Earth Evil Centipede lunged toward the skeletal mages, aware of their fragility. Scatter. Lin Moyu willed, and the skeletal mages immediately dispersed. Simultaneously, he released the slow curse. The Earth Evil Centipede slowed down once more. The skeletal mages quickly spread out. When its speed decreased, the Earth Evil Centipede began to glow intensely. Skill. Swipe. It swept through the area with its body like a whirlwind, flinging several skeletal mages backward, and they disintegrated in midair. My level is still lacking, Lin Moyu admitted, aware there was no way around it. He summoned more skeletons from the summon space to fill the gaps. Because his level was too low, this had become a battle of endurance, to see who ground whom first. If he were level 40, Lin Moyu believed the fight would not be this arduous. Chapter 235, Poison Gem, Poison Crystal. The skeletal mages' frail physique made them easy targets for the Earth Evil Centipede's swipe skill, which easily slew quite a few of them. The skeletal mages swiftly scattered and spread out to avoid giving the Earth Evil Centipede the opportunity to kill them en masse. Under the curse's influence, the Earth Evil Centipede's speed was significantly reduced, making it time-consuming for it to catch even a single skeletal mage. Meanwhile, the skeletal warriors rushed over and climbed onto its back, and then hacked away with their blades. Though the damage wasn't large, but many a little makes a mickle. The battle devolved into a war of attrition, with one side in pursuit and the other in retreat. Lin Moyu unleashed Soul Blaze continuously, causing the Earth Evil Centipede to howl in agony each time. Soul damage was excruciatingly painful. Whether human, monster, or demon, none could endure it. The poisonous fog still persisted, but in the presence of the Lich General's Legion Heal skill, it was rendered ineffective. The Earth Evil Centipede suddenly turned and raised its colossal body, over 100 meters in length, looking like a towering mountain. It targeted a Lich General and lunged, its front legs glowing. Skill: Slice and Dice. With a loud bang, the Lich General was sent flying, seriously injured by the attack. Subsequently, healing light coming from the remaining 9 Lich Generals fell on its body, restoring it to health almost in an instant. The Earth Evil Centipede's skill was unable to kill the Lich Generals in one strike. In turn, as long as the Lich Generals weren't killed in one strike, they could be saved. For every skeleton that died, Lin Moyu would release another one, making it seem like he had an endless supply of them. The Earth Evil Centipede kept using its skill to kill one skeletal warrior after another, as well as relentlessly pursue the skeletal mages, dashing back and forth, but its efficiency kept declining. Lin Moyu had already adapted to its attack pattern. When the Earth Evil Centipede was about to catch up to the skeletal mages, he would have the Lich Generals retrieve them, foiling its attempt. After several such instances, the Earth Evil Centipede gave up on pursuing the skeletal mages and instead turned its attention to the skeletal warriors. At this point, Lin Moyu retrieved the skeletal warriors, leaving only those on the Earth Evil Centipede's back. Although the skeletal warriors on the ground were numerous, but with the Earth Evil Centipede's swift movement, very few could effectively attack it. It was more practical to keep only those who could inflict damage. In fact, when the poisonous fog failed to have its intended effect, the Earth Evil Centipede's fate was sealed. However, due to its formidable physique and defense, it would take time to take it down. Standing at the center of the battlefield, Lin Moyu repeatedly used Soul Blaze. With no skeletons left to attack, the Earth Evil Centipede directed its attention back to him, enraged by his persistent attacks. The Earth Evil Centipede, with its limited intelligence, targeted Lin Moyu once again, launching a fierce offensive against him. Unbeknownst to it, the skeletal warriors that had been withdrawn before were released bit by bit. These skeletal warriors nimbly leapt onto its back. Compared to the massive Earth Evil Centipede, the skeletal warrior's size was negligible. It didn't notice them on its back. Before long, its back was once again covered with skeletal warriors. The second round of assault ensued, mirroring the one from just minutes earlier. The slow curse was swiftly replaced with the damage curse. Skill: Bone Fangs. Skill: Berserk Strike. Lin Moyu and the skeletal warriors simultaneously unleashed their skill. This time, Lin Moyu's Bone Fang's skill burst forth more violently, at least 3 times per second. Under the damage curse, the Earth Evil Centipede's defenses were once again breached. The skeletal warrior's skill, the skeletal mages, concentrated fire, and Lin Moyu's Bone Fangs collectively inflicted massive damage. Lin Moyu's Bone Fangs were particularly effective, seeing as they were released 10 times within 3 seconds. The Earth Evil Centipede's flesh was ripped open, and green blood splashed about, corroding the ground. The creature ran wildly, slicing and sweeping around and spewing out more poisonous fog. But in Lin Moyu's eyes, these were merely its death struggle. At this point, it was greatly weakened, its attacks not as powerful as before. Its slicing and dicing once even failed to kill a skeletal warrior in one hit. As its strength continued to wane, its cries grew fainter. A few minutes later, the Earth Evil Centipede was pushed to the brink of death. Suddenly, it began frantically digging into the ground. Shrouded by the poisonous fog, a large patch of the ground was corroded, turning as soft as tofu. In the blink of an eye, Earth Evil Centipede's head had already burrowed into the ground. Lin Moyu quickly realized that it was trying to escape, in your dreams. With a thought from Lin Moyu, skeletal warriors grabbed it and pulled. At the same time, the damage curse was switched to slow curse to stall for time. Thousands of skeletons clung to the Earth Evil Centipede's legs, dragging it out from the ground. Why do high-level bosses always try to run? Lin Moyu muttered to himself. The Earth Evil Centipede showed the same behavior as the Soul Devourer Insect King. Lin Moyu preferred dungeon bosses who fought to the death, saving him time and effort while giving the opponent a quick death. If the Earth Evil Centipede burrowed into the ground, catching it again would be incredibly difficult. The battle had already dragged on for nearly 20 minutes, and Lin Moyu was determined not to let it escape. The Earth Evil Centipede thrashed, but its strength had already waned. 2,000 skeletal warriors, half gripping its legs and the other half on its back, continued their relentless assault. Lin Moyu approached and pointed at the Earth Evil Centipede's head. Die, he whispered and changed the curse. Next, the final round of attacks erupted. Bone Fangs, Berserk Strike, and concentrated magic firepower. Killed Earth Evil Centipede, EXP plus 5,800,000. Obtained Evil Centipede's Sword. Obtained Evil Centipede's Shield. Obtained Evil Centipede's Robe. Obtained Poison Gem. Obtained Poison Crystal. Evil Centipede's Sword. Swordsman exclusive Platinum rank weapon, all attributes plus 3,000, increases the power of swordsman type skills by 90%. Supplementary skill, Poison. Poison. Applies the poison element to attacks, poisoning the target, dealing 1,000 points of damage per second, duration, 1 minute. Evil Centipede's Shield Knight exclusive Platinum rank weapon, all attributes plus 3,000, increases the power of defensive skills by 90%. Supplementary skill, Poison Fog Shield. Poison Fog Shield. Forms a shield of poisonous fog for 5 minutes, with defense equivalent to the user's physique, poisons attackers, dealing 1,000 of damage per second, duration, 1 minute, cooldown, 5 minutes. Evil Centipede's Rogue Mage exclusive Platinum rank protective equipment, all attributes plus 1,500, increases the casting speed for mage type skills by 50%. Supplementary skill, Poison Fog Barrier. Poison Fog Barrier. Forms a barrier equivalent to 10,000 points of physique, duration, 5 minutes, cooldown, 5 minutes. Poison Gem. Permanently reduces poison elemental damage by 50%, has a chance to acquire a poison elemental skill. Poison Crystal. Can be combined with other single-element elemental crystals to form an elemental divine stone, which in turn can increase the chances of class sublimation during the third-class awakening. The more elements are fused, the stronger the divine stone's effect. Can also be used by itself to permanently enhance poison elemental resistance. Once the latter option is used, it will no longer be possible to use poison crystal to form the elemental divine stone. Despite the hardships, seeing these rewards made it all worth it. Not counting the 3 platinum rank equipment, the poison gem was truly priceless, permanently reducing poison elemental damage by 50%. Coupled with his passive elemental resistance skill, it could yield an 8-fold reduction in poison elemental damage. If he were fortunate enough to acquire a poison elemental skill, he would really hit the jackpot. The poison crystal, a dark green gem that looked like it had a liquid flowing inside, possessed a beauty that could stir one's heart. Lin Moyu never expected to find an elemental crystal here. He realized that elemental crystals could be obtained not only through dungeons but also from world bosses. Teacher must not have killed the Earth Evil Centipede before, or else he would have told me about it. Bai Yiyuan never mentioned the Earth Evil Centipede to Lin Moyu, otherwise he would have surely warned him. The immemorial battlefield was vast and teeming with world-rank bosses. Even after many years of adventuring there, one might not encounter every single boss. With the Earth Evil Centipede's death, the poisonous fog gradually dissipated. Ling Yizhan and the others saw the unscathed Lin Moyu standing in front of the enormous body of the Earth Evil Centipede, his head lowered. At this moment, Lin Moyu gave off a different feeling, as if he were a towering giant overlooking the heavens and the earth. He really did it. Incredible. Soloing the Earth Evil Centipede, probably no one else can pull that off. Anyway, I've never seen it done before. The isolated space gradually dissipated, and the strange and eerie light of the immemorial battlefield returned and underwent a change. Then, Lin Moyu saw the change in the sky, as well as the succubus Alice hovering in the air. Panic-stricken and in disbelief, Alice let out a scream and fled in fear, not daring to look back. So it was her doing. Lin Moyu understood how he had ended up here and came across the Earth Evil Centipede. It was all orchestrated by her. Chapter 236. Tasting boss meat and acquiring new skill. Stop. Lin Moyu's voice rang out, halting Ling Yijan and his group in their tracks. Don't come any closer, the ground here is poisoned. Lin Moyu pointed to the ground. Only then did Ling Yijan and the others notice that the earth here was different. It was darker, tinged with an eerie green color. Upon closer inspection, wisps of smoke could be seen rising from it. This place had been contaminated by the Earth Evil Centipede's poison, and it would remain a hazardous zone for a long time. The bone armor shone brightly, protecting Lin Moyu as he walked out of the contaminated area. Ling Yijan and the others circled around to join him. Thank you, Junior. If it wasn't for Lin Moyu's intervention, they would have been done for this time. However, it was because of Lin Moyu that they were in this predicament to begin with. Lin Moyu shook his head. No need to thank me. If you hadn't run back, you would have been fine. Lin Moyu had seen Ling Yijan and them run back, and although he didn't say anything, but he understood their intentions. It was a tacit acknowledgement of their camaraderie. Regardless of the past, at least at present, these seniors seemed decent enough. The battle against the Earth Evil Centipede had been intense, draining a significant amount of Lin Moyu's spirit force. Additionally, he had lost 168 skeletal warriors and 18 skeletal mages, which was nearly half of an undead legion. This was a considerable loss and needed to be replenished. Lin Moyu walked out of the poisoned area and found a flat spot to sit down. Two skeletons stood next to him, one on each side, and he quickly entered a meditative state. This allowed him to recover swiftly after a battle, without wasting a single moment, greatly enhancing his ability to engage in prolonged combat. After 10 minutes, Lin Moyu opened his eyes, his spirit force fully restored. He glanced over at Ling Yijan and his group, who were busy examining the Earth Evil Centipede. It looked like they were using some tools. Lin Moyu began summoning skeletal warriors one by one. Thanks to his title, summoning a skeletal warrior only required 500 points of spirit force. He summoned 20 skeletal warriors in one go before resuming meditation, always retaining more than half of his spirit force. In this manner, in less than 2 hours, he had fully replenished the skeletal warriors. Next was the skeletal mage's turn. At this point, a fire entered Lin Moyu's eyes, followed by a strange aroma of meat. He turned to look and found that Ling Yijan and the others had set up a bonfire a distance away and were grilling meat. It was astonishingly the Earth Evil Centipede's meat. Ling Yijan noticed Lin Moyu looking their way and invited, Junior, come over and have some. Lin Moyu accepted the roasted meat from Ling Yijan without hesitation. The bone armor didn't react, confirming the meat wasn't poisoned. After taking a bite, Lin Moyu found the grilled meat unusually delicious and infused with peculiar energy, and he felt his spirit force become more active. This sensation was similar to when he ingested desert fruit. He couldn't help but feel a bit dazed. How could this be? He summoned a skeletal mage, which consumed 1,500 points of spirit force. At the same time, he took another bite of the meat. Sure enough, his spirit force recovered at an alarming speed, even faster than when ingesting desert fruit. Lin Moyu asked, what kind of meat is this? Ling Yijan replied, this is the Earth Evil Centipede's leg meat, world boss meat. It is an excellent treasure for restoring spirit force and healing wounds. Lin Moyu looked at the Earth Evil Centipede. Its corpse was still there. Unlike the corpses of dungeon bosses, this corpse would remain for a long time. However, its legs were missing. They were clearly removed by Ling Yijan and his party. Seeing Lin Moyu's gaze, Ling Yijan smiled and pulled out a large box. The box was made of ice and was emitting cold air. The box was filled with pristine white leg meat. Surprisingly, despite the Earth Evil Centipede being poisonous, its leg meat was pristine white and looked very appetizing. Ling Yijan said, there's half of the leg meat in here. Lin Moyu took it without hesitation. Although Ling Yijan and his party had harvested the meat, but he was the one who killed the boss. He deserved a share. Thank you, here's something for you. Lin Moyu tossed a piece of equipment to Ling Yijan. It was the evil centipede's robe, which came with the poison fog barrier skill. The robe came with its own skill and its attributes were very high, making it a top-tier platinum rank equipment. It was superior to what Ling Yijan was wearing. Ling Yijan was a little overwhelmed. I can't accept this. Lin Moyu shook his head. We're all from the Shajing Academy, so just take it. Lin Moyu continued eating the roasted meat, which was rapidly restoring his spirit force. He summoned skeletal mages one after another until all 18 skeletal mages were replenished. By the time he had finished the meat in his hand, he felt full. His stomach couldn't fit much more. It's a bit different from desert fruit. Lin Moyu mused. You couldn't get full from desert fruit. No matter how many you ate, they would dissipate before even reaching the stomach. Although the boss meat was more effective, but you couldn't eat much of it. As such, desert fruit was still the unrivaled miraculous material for grind skills. At the thought of desert fruit, Lin Moyu couldn't help but feel a slight nausea. In any case, since he won't be able to get desert fruit in the future, the Earth Evil Centipede's leg meat was a good alternative. It was better than nothing. Does the meat of other world bosses have this kind of effect? Lin Moyu asked. Ling Yijian nodded. Generally, yes. Eating the flesh of a boss partial to the spirit attribute will have a pronounced effect in terms of restoring spirit force. The Earth Evil Centipede's attributes were fairly balanced. If it were a world boss partial to the spirit attribute instead, the effect would be even better. However, Lin Moyu considered it briefly but ultimately dismissed the idea. After all, bosses like the Earth Evil Centipede were not easy to deal with. The creature was simply unfortunate to meet an adversary unafraid of poison, and it was eventually overwhelmed and defeated. If it were a party of class users like that of Ling Yijian instead, unless they had an overwhelming level advantage, sheer numbers wouldn't cut it. A single cloud of poisonous fog would likely kill half of them. After filling his stomach, Lin Moyu's spirit force was fully restored. He took out the poison crystal and fire crystal and placed them together, and then infused spirit force. With spirit force acting as a bridge, the two crystals were connected. The red and green crystals emitted a faint light and merged like flowing water. Half a minute later, a brand new item, Elemental Divine Stone, appeared in Lin Moyu's hand. The Divine Stone was a hexagonal gem, with one half glowing red of the fire element and the other half glowing green of the poison element. The two sides were distinctly separate and interdependent, forming a perfectly balanced whole. Elemental Divine Stone Fire, Poison can be used during the third class awakening to increase the chances of class sublimation by 5%. The fusion of the two elements only increased the chances of class sublimation by 5%. To further increase the chances, more elements would need to be added. After putting the Elemental Divine Stone away, Lin Moyu took out the poison gem. Before using it, he summoned an undead legion to guard him and donned the bone armor. He wasn't sure how long the process of using the poison gem would take nor what would happen, so he prioritized safety. Subsequently, he stimulated his spirit force and activated the poison gem. The poison gem instantly exploded into a green mist that surrounded Lin Moyu. The bone armor didn't activate, indicating that the green mist was harmless. The mist swirled around Lin Moyu, emitting a faint light, somewhat similar to when using a skill scroll. The green light grew stronger and tinged the surroundings green. Ling Yijian and the others watched curiously. Party leader, what is he doing? Ling Yijian watched on for a moment, then replied thoughtfully, he should be using the poison gem. The poison gem was a special item dropped by the Earth Evil Centipede. Ling Yijian wasn't clear about its specific function, and in fact, very few people knew about it. After all, the Earth Evil Centipede was extremely difficult to kill. The last time it was slain was many years ago. After using the poison gem, Lin Moyu gained a trait, poison elemental damage reduced by 50%. Coupled with the elemental resistance's 4-fold damage reduction, the total reduction in poison elemental damage reached 8 times. The green light continued to grow more intense. A few minutes later, Lin Moyu saw a ring of green light spread outward from the green light, instantly sweeping across a vast area. The area touched by the ring of green light immediately decayed, transforming a large region of the battlefield into a wasteland. The poison was incredibly potent. Acquired skill, Poison Star Ring Level 1. Poison Star Ring Level 1 can form an area 1 meter in radius that deals poison damage, dealing damage equivalent to 10 points per second, duration, 1 second. Lin Moyu's eyes were filled with joy. He actually gained a new skill. At level 1, Poison Star Ring seemed weak. Even with the 40-fold amplification of Lin Moyu's talent, it could only cover a range of 40 meters and deal 400 points of damage per second for 40 seconds. In fact, it was quite a few times less powerful than a skeletal warrior's slash of the blade. But if the skill's level were to be raised, then the damage would be astounding. At the same time, Lin Moyu couldn't help but sigh. Another skill had to be ground. Chapter 237, It's Lin Moyu, Run. In the Hall of Heroes, Bai Yiyuan sat cross-legged, sensing Lin Moyu's condition through the soul brand left in the Hall of Heroes. Not long ago, the soul brand had suddenly throbbed a few times, catching Bai Yiyuan's attention. The kid's spirit force seems to have grown stronger. And by quite a bit. Did he encounter some sort of opportunity? As Lin Moyu's spirit force grew stronger, the brand he left in the Hall of Heroes also grew stronger. Moments later, a look of shock appeared on Bai Yiyuan's face. Lin Moyu's soul brand was now enveloped in a ring of red light. The primordial rune. The kid actually obtained the primordial rune. It's only been a few days, yet he already had a stroke of luck. Despite the grumbling, the expression on his face betrayed his true feelings. The joy on his face could not be concealed. Kid, the next part is your trial. You must persevere, Bai Yiyuan uttered. There was nothing he could do, except standing guard in the Hall of Heroes. Since normally no one visited the Hall of Heroes, he sat there alone without disturbing anyone. At this moment, the gate opened, and an elderly man with white hair walked in. Despite his advanced age, he moved with a vigorous step, radiating energy. Beside the old man was a unicorn wrapped in electric arcs. It was a sacred thunder unicorn, a unique existence in the entire Shengxia Empire. Its owner, Mo Xinghai, was also a godly powerhouse like Bai Yiyuan and the Empire's sole godly summoner. Bai Yiyuan was surprised. Old Mo, what brings you here? Mo Xinghai glanced at him. What are you doing here? Bai Yiyuan replied, my student went to the immemorial battlefield, so I'm here to keep an eye on things. And you? Mo Xinghai said, my granddaughter went to the immemorial battlefield as well. The two shared a look and suddenly burst into hearty laughter. As former comrades in arms who had fought countless battles side by side, their bond was naturally strong. Mo Xinghai sat down beside Bai Yiyuan and asked curiously, when did you accept a student? How come I didn't know? It wasn't long ago. Bai Yiyuan chatted with Mo Xinghai, while sensing Lin Moyu's soul brand. Mo Xinghai, having found his granddaughter Mo Yun's soul brand and sensing she was safe, relaxed. How is he? Is he promising? Bai Yiyuan nodded. He's a supra-godly talent. Mo Xinghai's face immediately registered shock. Such praise from Bai Yiyuan was unprecedented. Bai Yiyuan chuckled. I heard your precious granddaughter successfully sublimated her class the other day. Congratulations. Mo Xinghai smiled. My granddaughter is really remarkable. She is. But she's still no match for my student. Bai Yiyuan grinned. Come on, how great can your student be? Supra-godly talent. You must be exaggerating. Mo Xinghai looked skeptical. Mo Yun was exceptional, ranked in the top 3 of her generation within the human race. Now that she had sublimated her class, she was arguably ranked first. If even she couldn't compare, then how extraordinary must this student be? Your granddaughter knows my student. He was the one who helped her obtain the blackened soul crystal. Mo Xinghai immediately knew who Bai Yiyuan's student was and couldn't help but show a look of surprise. You're unexpectedly his teacher. Lin Moyu proceeded forward under the scarlet light, periodically unleashing his newly acquired skill, Poison Star Ring. After consuming a portion of his spirit force, he would take a bite of the Earth Evil Centipede's leg meat to replenish his spirit force, keeping its level above 80%. It took Lin Moyu 8 whole days to travel from the Soul Devour insect territory to the central area of the immemorial battlefield. Strictly speaking, he had merely set foot into the central area. According to Ling Yizhan, the central area was much more dangerous and expansive than the outskirts. It would take at least a month to reach the true core area from the edge of the central area. Furthermore, most of the time, the divine selection secret realm that Lin Moyu sought appeared near the core area. The central area wasn't strictly defined. Its boundary was marked by the absence of monsters below level 50, making it a domain dominated by monsters above level 50. In the same vein, no abyssal demon nor class user below level 50 roamed here. Lin Moyu was an outlier, a level 30 human class user without the support of a party or an elder, accompanied only by 2 level 30 skeletons with seemingly weak attributes. In this domain, he was an easy target, practically a delicacy for the monsters. Radiating the scarlet light, Lin Moyu was like a giant beacon, glowing wherever he went. Ling Yizhan continued to follow from a few hundred meters away, not daring to get too close due to the danger. A while after leaving the Earth Evil Centipede's territory, more blind fools came seeking trouble. Over a few days, more than 100 Dragonkind class users had perished at Lin Moyu's hands. From his point of view, these Dragonkind class users were quite generous, offering equipment, military merit, and express. His military merit had already reached 200,000. During these days, some human class users had also approached and made contact with Lin Moyu. Some offered protection, but he refused them all, just as he had with Ling Yijian. These people didn't pester him and quickly left. When they saw Ling Yijian and his party behind Lin Moyu, they revealed knowing expressions, thinking that they were protecting Lin Moyu. Some people even gave Ling Yijian and company a thumbs up. This made Ling Yijian feel both amused and exasperated. Who was protecting whom? He really wanted to shout, "You've got it all wrong." Upon reaching the central area, Ling Yijian and company ceased following Lin Moyu. This place wasn't safe for them. They usually operated on the periphery and seldom ventured this deep. In just a few days, a series of fierce battles took place, imbuing Lin Moyu with a strong murderous aura. Unlike in dungeons where only monsters appeared, the immemorial battlefield also featured intelligent creatures like Dragonkind class users and abyssal demons, who could mount surprise attacks and cooperate. Killing them was vastly different. This was genuine murder, with murderous intent building up with each battle. Lin Moyu gazed into the distance. Ling Yijian told him that it was the direction of the core of the immemorial battlefield's upper layer. Lin Moyu had learned how to navigate the immemorial battlefield, follow the light. The light flowed outward from the core. Therefore, in order to reach the core area, you had to move against the light's flow. In this place, there were no cardinal directions, there was only the core. I have been waiting for so long already, and they still haven't come. Lin Moyu muttered to himself, only 2 days left. There's not much time. Over the past 4 days, Lin Moyu was battered with wave after wave of Dragonkind class users, while only a few abyssal demons had shown up. Was it because there were few abyssal demons here? Lin Moyu didn't think so. On the immemorial battlefield, the number of abyssal demons was no less than any other race. The fact that Lin Moyu hadn't seen many abyssal demons in the past few days could only mean one thing: they were biding their time, waiting for an opportunity. Lin Moyu was also waiting, anticipating the chance to gain military merit. He believed that the abyssal demons would definitely come. The succubus who had escaped previously wouldn't give up so easily. After all, the allure of the primordial rune was just too great. Just as this thought crossed Lin Moyu's mind, a beam of light suddenly shot up into the sky. It was the same scarlet light that was rising from him. Primordial rune. Lin Moyu was startled. Someone had obtained a primordial rune. Subsequently, the scarlet light darted swiftly through the air, its bearer mounted on a pure white unicorn that emitted halo radiance, leaving a long trail of brilliance in its wake. The scarlet light, mingling with the halo white light, was not merely conspicuous, but shone like a giant beacon, far brighter than Lin Moyu's light. "It's her." Lin Moyu was taken aback. It was surprisingly Mo Yun. She had also come to the immemorial battlefield and acquired a primordial rune. Her expression remained as cold as ever, tinged with pride, yet her eyes betrayed a hint of panic. When she emerged, a trace of the aura of teleportation filled the air, which didn't escape Lin Moyu's senses. She had used a teleportation talisman to get here. There was someone pursuing her. "Mo Yun, come here." Lin Moyu barked, his voice amplified by spirit force, carrying far. Mo Yun noticed another scarlet light shine in addition to hers, and her eyes flashed with surprise. She hadn't expected that someone else would obtain a primordial rune like her. When she heard the voice, she was even more surprised. She looked down and saw Lin Moyu on the ground. For some reason, seeing him made her feel reassured. Although the two hadn't interacted much, but Lin Moyu had left a deep impression on her, especially his combat power. Despite how prideful she was, she had no choice but to acknowledge his power. He also obtained a primordial rune. Why did he come here at level 30? Seeing the scarlet light surrounding Lin Moyu, Mo Yun was shocked again. Mo Yun descended on her unicorn and asked, "Why did you come to the immemorial battlefield?" Lin Moyu smiled, "My teacher told me to come here and take a look." Take a look? He came to take a look and just happened to get a primordial rune. Mo Yun was about to ask more when suddenly her expression changed drastically. She looked into the distance, where a large group of abyssal demons had appeared in the air. Mo Yun was flustered, saying, "They've caught up. Get on, I'll take you with me." As she spoke, she shifted forward, leaving space for Lin Moyu to sit on the unicorn. The unicorn was about the size of an ordinary horse and could accommodate 2 people. Lin Moyu remained still, as if rooted to the ground. There's no need to run. Mo Yun was startled. Did he intend to stay here and die? Lin Moyu continued, they should be the ones running. Among the group of abyssal demons, Lin Moyu spotted an old acquaintance, the succubus that had run from him twice. When the succubus Alice saw Lin Moyu a distance away, her expression immediately contorted into a mix of fear, panic, and dread, and she let out a startled cry, "It's Lin Moyu, run!" Chapter 238. To annihilate a party, the support must be taken out first. In an instant, all the abyssal demons turned and ran, disappearing swiftly into the distance. Their speed was even faster than when they had arrived. Mo Yun was dumbfounded, the succubus's words, "It's Lin Moyu, run," etched deeply in her mind. Why are they so afraid of you? Lin Moyu had guessed this outcome when he saw the succubus, maybe they're scared that I'll kill them. In reality, since arriving at the immemorial battlefield, Lin Moyu hadn't killed that many abyssal demons. Instead, he had killed Dragonkind class users the most. Who knew why they were so afraid of him? Lin Moyu inquired, "How long ago did you get your primordial rune?" 5 days ago. Just half a day after obtaining the primordial rune, she had begun her life on the run. These past few days had felt like years, with every minute and every second etched distinctly in her memory. Lin Moyu uttered, "Stay with me until the primordial rune fully belongs to you." Mo Yu could see that the abyssal demons were terrified of him, indicating that Lin Moyu was incredibly powerful. In these past few days, she had endured enough danger, humiliation, exhaustion. Who knew how she made it through? In the end, she swallowed her pride and accepted Lin Moyu's offer. Okay. Lin Moyu continued forward, with Mo Yun, who rode her unicorn, following by his side. Did you succeed in sublimating your class? Now that she had time to relax, Mo Yun lay limply on her unicorn. Yes, I did. I'm now a Holy Spirit summoner. This is my new partner, a Holy Spirit unicorn. The Holy Spirit unicorn lifted its proud head and released a soft neigh. Lin Moyu smiled. The summoned beast, not unlike its master, was quite proud. Can you tell me what happened during your class sublimation? Lin Moyu wanted to ask Mo Yun about her class sublimation, but was interrupted by the sound of steady breathing. Mo Yun had fallen asleep atop her unicorn. After the ordeal of the past few days, she was thoroughly exhausted. In the meantime, the succubus flew far away with the bunch of abyssal demons. These abyssal demons were all above level 50, putting them above succubus Alice. But at this moment, they were following her command. This was highly unusual for abyssal demons, who adhered to a strict hierarchy. Alice patted her chest. Thankfully we ran quickly. She was filled with fear of Lin Moyu. Lady Alice, why are you so afraid of that human called Lin Moyu? He seems to be only level 30. Some abyssal demons expressed their confusion. Alice replied, it's not that I'm afraid of him, I just don't want to disrupt Lady Demon Queen's plan. She has been preparing it for several days. The plan can't be interrupted halfway. Upon hearing the words Lady Demon Queen, all the abyssal demons revealed a shade of infatuation. An abyssal demon reassured her, Lady Alice, please rest assured. The Lady Demon Queen's plan will succeed. We will do our utmost to ensure it. Alice chuckled, that's great. Only one more day to go, we're almost there. In the central area, brilliant and captivating rays of light shot out, intertwined in the near-infinite sky, and then dispersed, illuminating the entire immemorial battlefield. This place was the most perilous, yet it also brimmed with the most opportunities. World bosses, secret realms, high-level dungeons, they could all be found there. Among these, the most renowned was the Divine Selection Secret Realm. Almost everyone who came to the immemorial battlefield hoped to enter the Divine Selection Secret Realm, and then acquire divinity. For human class users, obtaining divinity could significantly increase the probability of class sublimation during class awakening. Moreover, the earlier divinity was obtained, the better the chances. Bai Yiyuan claimed that if Lin Moyu could acquire divinity at level 30, then by the time he reached level 40 and had his second class awakening, combined with blackened soul crystal, the probability of class sublimation could rise to 99%. This might be a bit of an exaggeration, but it served to highlight the importance of divinity. There was only one chance to undergo the second class awakening, and it was crucial to maximize this opportunity. For Dragonkind class users, the effect of divinity was slightly different. Divinity could awaken their bloodline. It was said that there was a chance to awaken their primordial bloodline, significantly enhancing their combat power. For abyssal demons, it was simpler. By devouring divinity, they had a chance to advance and even become Demon King. The benefit of divinity was tremendous. Consequently, every time the Divine Selection's secret realm appeared, fierce fighting ensued. The Divine Selection's secret realm ranked second among all the opportunities in the immemorial battlefield's upper layer. The first was naturally the primordial space, accessible only to those possessing a primordial rune. The third was the demonic Dragon Hall dungeon that could drop dragon crystal. In addition to these three major opportunities, there was another major opportunity. However, no one had ever obtained it. It was an extremely powerful world boss located in the core area, and no one had ever defeated it. Lin Moyu wasn't thinking about any of this for now. Following Bai Yiyuan's instructions, his primary goal was to reach the Divine Selection's secret realm and acquire divinity. After all, the lower his level when he acquired divinity, the better. Over the past few days, his express had reached 63%. If he delayed any further, he might level up, complicating matters. Suddenly, a massive aura descended, firmly locking onto Lin Moyu and Mo Yun. Mo Yun, who had slept for an entire day by this time, awoke with a start, her face filled with panic as she looked at the sky. What's happening? Before she could get a response, a dense rain of arrows fell from the sky, followed by a huge meteorite. Almost instinctively, Mo Yun let out a startled cry, and her holy spirit unicorn neighed loudly and emitted a bright white light from all over its body that formed a shield, enveloping her and Lin Moyu both. The rain of arrows clattered against the shield, distorting and deforming it, creating numerous dents. Fortunately, Mo Yun's shield was sturdy enough to withstand the rain of arrows. When the arrows passed, the meteorite followed. The Dragonkin mage's powerful skill unleashed a meteorite more than 10 meters in diameter, crashing down onto the shield with a deafening blare. The meteorite exploded on impact, and Mo Yun released a cry. Remarkably, the shield not only withstood the impact but grew even stronger. As a Holy Spirit Summoner, a mid-level legendary class user, Mo Yun's performance was impressive. She managed to block attacks from opponents over level 50 while she was only level 41. No wonder she had managed to survive the pursuit of the abyssal demons. Hurry up, get on. Mo Yun released a high-pitched shout, making space again, motioning for Lin Moyu to sit on her unicorn. She was visibly anxious, although she could withstand a couple of volleys, but she wouldn't last long. Lin Moyu's nonchalant voice sounded in her ears, "Don't worry, it's fine." "Fine, stop kidding." The ones pursuing her were a party of Dragonkin class users, each over level 50. Escaping unharmed seemed impossible. How could it be fine? If they didn't flee now, there would be no chance later. However, Lin Moyu's calm expression made her believe that everything would be fine. In the sky, there were 6 Dragonkin class users, 1 knight, 1 support, 2 archers, and 2 mages. This configuration was common among Dragonkin parties. Lin Moyu had defeated many such parties in recent days. Another volley of arrows rained down, and a meteorite began to form in the sky. Not being able to fly is really inconvenient. Lin Moyu stepped out of the shield's range, exposing himself to the rain of arrows. The bone armor glittered, effortlessly deflecting the attacks. Compared to the powerful strikes of the Earth Evil Centipede, this level of attack was nothing. Upon seeing Lin Moyu step out from the shield's range, the Dragonkin knight drew his sword and charged at him. 2 primordial runes, this is a big haul. One is level 30, the other is level 41, both humans, were really lucky. What a bargain. Their voices were loud and full of energy, their eyes gleamed with a predatory glint, and their tongues swept across their lips in bloodthirsty anticipation. The Dragonkin knight, distracted by the allure of the primordial runes, failed to notice the intense Dragonkin aura emanating from Lin Moyu. That was an amalgamation of the residual aura left by the many Dragonkin class users he had slain. The Dragonkin knight was very fast. In an instant, he was upon Lin Moyu, his sword glowing brightly. Skill. Cross-cut. Watch out. Mo Yun cried out in alarm. Lin Moyu remained still, letting the attack fall on him. The bone armor glowed faintly, blocking the Dragon Knight's strike. To break through bone armor, the Dragon Knight would need to unleash a dozen-plus strikes of similar power. The 2 skeletal warriors, standing on either side of Lin Moyu, stepped forward and brandished their blades, slashing at the Dragonkin Knight. The Dragonkin Knight was greatly shocked, promptly engaging the skeletal warriors. Only those who had fought the skeletal warriors before would know how strong they were. Even without status buffs, the skeletal warriors' 4 attributes had reached 40,000 each, surpassing the level 50 Dragonkin Knight. How can they be this strong? The Dragonkin Knight exclaimed in disbelief. The skeletons' attributes clearly were nothing much, so why was their combat power so terrifying? This defied all logic. Lin Moyu pressed his hand down. Consequently, a hum filled the air, and red light cascaded to the ground. Skill. Slow curse. Next, a flame rose in his hand and pulsated, and a miserable scream echoed in the air. Lin Moyu didn't attack the Dragonkin Knight, who was right in front of him, but instead focused on the support in the air, the only support of the Dragonkin party. His class was similar to the Human Battle King class, in that it could both perform status buffs and proved treatment. Unlike the Human Battle King class, this class was common among the Dragonkin. Lin Moyu had killed at least 10 Dragonkin class users with this class in the past few days. Lin Moyu had learned from experience that to annihilate a party, the support must be taken out first. Chapter 239, Crimson Moon Demon, Lord Rank Demon. The Dragonkin support screamed in agony, his robust-looking body trembling uncontrollably in intense pain, his wings flapping erratically, almost tumbling from the sky. The Dragonkin Knight bellowed, pushed away the skeletons, and charged toward Lin Moyu. However, donning the tortoise-shell-like bone armor, Lin Moyu paid him no attention. Skill. Extreme Defense. The Dragonkin Knight activated his most powerful defensive skill, ignoring the skeletons' attacks, focusing all his strength on attacking Lin Moyu. Skill. Cross-cut. Skill. Reverse Wind Sword. Skill. Shield Smash. One by one, the Dragonkin Knight unleashed his skills, but they were all blocked by the bone armor. None of the control effects could affect Lin Moyu. A vicious cycle formed on the battlefield. Lin Moyu attacked the Dragonkin support, the Dragonkin Knight attacked Lin Moyu, and the skeletons attacked the Dragonkin Knight. Lin Moyu, the Dragonkin Knight, and the skeletal warriors looked like they stood in line, each presenting their back to the next one. Is this what you call a battle? Mo Yun couldn't help but feel both amused and exasperated. At this moment, the Dragonkin archers and mages redirected their attacks toward Lin Moyu, trying to stop him. It's no use. Lin Moyu simply reapplied the bone armor, his attacks never ceasing. As she watched in astonishment, Mo Yun suddenly received a party invitation from Lin Moyu. To avoid friendly fire, Lin Moyu's voice sounded. Mo Yun didn't hesitate and joined the party. Under Lin Moyu's relentless assault, the Dragonkin support was already at his last gasp. Soul Blaze interrupted his skills again and again, preventing him from healing himself. Stop, stop, the Dragonkin Knight bellowed, but it was futile, he couldn't even touch the hem of Lin Moyu's clothes. The Dragonkin archers and mages attacked Lin Moyu frenziedly. At this time, Mo Yun was like a bystander, free of any pressure. She felt like the Dragonkin class users were strange in the head. Why didn't they run? Seeing their companion about to be killed, the thought of taking him out of the danger didn't even cross their minds. Did they only know how to attack blindly? But then again, it seemed that Dragonkin class users were like this. Their arrogance clouded their judgment. With a final scream, the Dragonkin support perished. The red light flickered and turned darker and deeper. Skill. Damage Curse. Skill. Corpse Explosion. Boom. The 2 archers and mages fell from the sky, killed in the explosion. Subsequently, dozens of skeletons appeared next to Lin Moyu, and then surrounded the Dragonkin Knight and grabbed his arms, legs, and wings, preventing him from escaping. Lin Moyu switched targets and released Soul Blaze on the Dragonkin Knight. Even with extreme defense, the excruciating pain caused by Soul Blaze wasn't eased by much. Soon, the Dragonkin Knight was also dead. The skeletons swiftly stripped the bodies of their equipment and collected everything. First kill the support and use Corpse Explosion, then finish off the knight and loot the equipment. Lin Moyu executed these actions with practiced efficiency. The entire battle lasted only about 2 minutes. Mo Yun remembered what Lin Moyu had said earlier, "Don't worry, it's fine." The nonchalant words still echoed in her ears when the battle had concluded. She was about to speak, when the surrounding space darkened. The surrounding space suddenly changed. A huge barrier fell from the sky and covered the land. A barrier, Mo Yun cried out in a low voice. Lin Moyu responded with a hum sound, gazing at the sky, showing little surprise. They've finally come. As expected, with only 1 day left until the primordial rune fully fused with him, they finally made their move. If they waited until the primordial rune completely merged with him before killing him, they wouldn't be able to obtain the primordial rune. Therefore, the abyssal demons were bound to make their move today. Moreover, this method, it seemed familiar. Wasn't it just like during the class user competition? This was a tried and tested approach. The barrier sealed off the land, trapping Lin Moyu and Mo Yun inside. The abyss's power permeated the barrier, making them feel as though they were in the abyssal world itself. Darkness became the dominant theme. What now? Mo Yun was anxious, clutching an advanced random teleportation talisman in her hand. She asked uncertainly, should we escape? Lin Moyu wasn't worried at all, there's no rush. Let's observe for now. A dark aura spread, and a massive amount of abyssal demons appeared within the barrier, including an old acquaintance of Lin Moyu, the succubus Alice. Alice giggled, Lin Moyu, we meet again. Unexpectedly, even the earth evil centipede failed to kill you. But this time. As she spoke, the black gem in her hand radiated a brilliant light, and the stunning and enchanting succubus queen appeared before everyone. Though it was just a projection of the succubus queen, but it still exuded immense charm. The moment she appeared, all the demons showed a look of infatuation in their eyes. She turned toward Lin Moyu and laughed coquettishly, her eyes filled with seduction. We meet again, my adorable young friend Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu had encountered her during the class user competition. At that time, Lin Moyu's fame had spread far and wide, reaching every corner of the human world. Mo Yun sensed an unusual aura emanating from the succubus queen, an aura that made her extremely uncomfortable. Who is she? Lin Moyu replied in a low voice, the succubus queen. She appeared during the class user competition and was driven away by God Bai. Mo Yun was shocked, it was actually an abyssal demon king. Abyssal demon kings were at least level 90 beings, comparable to godly powerhouses of the human race. She never expected one to appear here. The succubus queen chuckled coquettishly, young friend Lin Moyu, your strength has truly impressed me. I have a proposal for you. Join the abyss and serve me. I assure you, you won't be disappointed. Then she turned to Mo Yun, and this young lady, a holy spirit summoner, very impressive. Why don't you join as well? As she spoke, a strange energy swirled, and even the light on the immemorial battlefield halted for a moment. A flicker of confusion crossed Mo Yun's eyes, then blazing white light rose. The bone armor gleamed brightly. Mo Yun sobered up instantly, breaking into a cold sweat, shaken from the experience. For a moment, she felt compelled to pledge allegiance to the succubus queen and serve her to the death. She realized this was the succubus queen's ability, charm. Many human class users had fallen under her spell, willingly becoming her slaves. Fortunately, she had the protection of the bone armor, blocking the succubus queen's power. Lin Moyu remained calm and composed, his gaze unwavering. His bone armor glowed brightly around him, rendering the succubus queen's charm ineffective. The succubus queen's projection showed a trace of shock before laughing coquettishly, it failed. That's a pity. Her voice grew sharp. Since that's the case, then I can only ask you to die. The black gem in Alice's hand suddenly exploded, and a massive spatial channel appeared in the air. When the spatial channel opened, a blue mucus poured out as if from a waterfall, quickly forming a pool on the ground. The seductive and alluring voice of the succubus queen came from the channel, this is a small token of my appreciation. I hope you like it. The channel vanished amid her laughter. The black gem not only served as an anchor to pinpoint spatial coordinates, allowing the succubus queen's projection to appear, but also enable the creation of a spatial channel to deliver things. Though Lin Moyu didn't know what the succubus queen had sent, but it was undoubtedly a danger to him. The blue pool swiftly seeped into the ground and disappeared. In the next moment, the earth trembled, and a massive spike pierced out from beneath Lin Moyu's feet, striking his bone armor with a loud crash. The impact was so strong that it caused numerous cracks to form on the bone armor. If another spike were to hit it, the armor might break apart. Lin Moyu's expression changed slightly. This attack was only slightly less powerful than that of the Earth Evil Centipede. The spike emitted a blue glow, identical to that of the blue mucus that just vanished. Not only was Lin Moyu attacked, but Mo Yun was also targeted. Fortunately, with the bone armor's protection, no harm came to her. Though the sudden and bizarre assault did startle her. The summons were also attacked by the spikes. This seemed to be a group attack. After striking once, the spikes quickly drilled back into the ground. In the blink of an eye, the second wave of spikes struck and slammed into bone armor and summons with a bang. The spikes came and went in a rapid succession, at least 3 times per second. No matter how Lin Moyu dodged, the spikes hit their mark with unerring accuracy. Lin Moyu waved one hand to reapply bone armor to himself and Mo Yun, while using the other to deploy detection. Crimson Moon Demon, Lord Rank Demon. Level, 55. Strength, 50,000. Agility, 50,000. Spirit, 50,000. Physique, 120,000. Skill, unlimited spikes. Traits, light elemental defense reduced by 50%, dark elemental damage reduced by 50%, elemental damage reduced by 30%, physical damage reduced by 80%. Chapter 240. There are no perfect monsters, looking for a weakness. The succubus queen used the black gem to open a spatial channel, in order to send the Lord Rank demon. It was evident that the succubus queen must have selected the demon with great care. The Crimson Moon demon's attributes weren't particularly high, and it only possessed one skill, unlimited spikes, a group offensive skill that locked onto its targets, making evasion impossible. Its offensive power wasn't exceptionally high, its strength attribute 70,000 points lower than that of the Earth Evil Centipede. Its total attributes reached 270,000 points, slightly lower than that of the Soul Devour Insect King. Although the Crimson Moon Demon wasn't quite a match for the Boss Devour Insect King in terms of total attributes, but it was more peculiar. Mo Yun spoke in a serious tone, Lord Rank demons are elites among abyssal demons, and there aren't many of them in the abyss. They are equivalent to Lord Rank bosses. The barrier has merged with the Crimson Moon Demon. If we can't kill it, we won't be able to escape. Lin Moyu understood the implication of Mo Yun's words. The Crimson Moon Demon had completely merged with the ground, constantly launching attacks, making him feel at a loss as to where to start. However, with this alone, killing him won't be that easy. Let's give it a try. The two skeletons swiftly ran to the edge of the barrier, enduring the Crimson Moon Demon's attacks. Even at the edge, the attacks didn't cease. The entire barrier was within the Crimson Moon Demon's range. The skeletal warriors unleashed their skill and attacked the barrier, but the barrier remained completely still. Lin Moyu promptly collected the skeletal warriors to avoid unnecessary losses. Suddenly, a large swath of black light descended from above. The black light, containing the abyss's power, rained down as if swords. Unfortunately, it wasn't very accurate, and most of it missed. The demons in the air weren't idle. They launched attacks from high in the air, from beyond Lin Moyu's range. They were clearly afraid of him and thus stayed high in the air. Consequently, their attacks came with low accuracy. If they hit, great. If they didn't, no skin off their back. With the Crimson Moon Demon attacking from below and the high-level demons harassing from above, Lin Moyu and Mo Yun found themselves besieged. These guys are really annoying. We need to find a way to bring them down. Lin Moyu spoke in a quiet voice. Mo Yun uttered in reply, my summon has a skill that can create a flight restriction effect for a short period. But the duration is short, only 30 seconds, and the cooldown is 10 minutes and the range isn't large. If they are on their guard. Mo Yun's implication was clear, this skill had only one chance of succeeding. It had to catch the enemy off guard to maximize its impact. 30 seconds. Lin Moyu considered it for a moment. It should be enough. Wait for my sign, then use it. Lin Moyu said in a low voice. It wasn't time yet. All right, Mo Yun nodded, ready for action. Meanwhile, the Crimson Moon Demon, merged with the ground, continued its relentless assault. Lin Moyu couldn't think of a countermeasure at the moment and had to resort to experimentation. A red light flashed. Skill. Slow curse. A faint hum sounded. In an instant, the spikes slowed down. Scarlet red chain patterns appeared on the tops of the spikes. The ground inside the barrier was covered in densely packed red chain patterns. Lin Moyu's eyes lit up as he suddenly had a realization. It wasn't that the Scarlet Moon Demon's attacks were particularly fast or accurate, but rather that it attacked from too many points. Therefore, no matter where he ran, there was no escaping its attacks. Additionally, every spike was affected by the curse, making it seem as if they were independent life forms. The entire stretch of land inside the barrier had turned into the Scarlet Moon Demon's body, and Lin Moyu stood within its very body. Lin Moyu thought about it for a moment and began to gain some understanding. As he unraveled the mystery, the true nature of the Scarlet Moon Demon was gradually revealed. Under the influence of the curse, the Scarlet Moon Demon's attacks had slowed significantly, reducing the pressure on Lin Moyu. Let's give this a try first. Lin Moyu willed, and an undead legion appeared. Skill. Legion Enhancement. In an instant, the skeletons were strengthened by a variety of status buffs. In the next moment, a massive amount of spikes emerged, targeting the skeletons. At the same time, the skeletons unleashed their skill, their blades glowing red as they struck the spikes. The sounds of impact filled the air. Debris flew everywhere, accompanied by sprays of blue mucus and faint screams. The blue mucus landed on the skeletal warriors, producing sizzling sounds as if boiling water poured on ice, raising thick green smoke, corroding pale gold bones, injuring the skeletal warriors. The Lich General raised its stave, Legion Heal. The wounds of the skeletons rapidly healed, but then the second wave of spikes followed. The skeletal warriors counterattacked, shattering the spikes and releasing even more blue mucus, their injuries becoming more severe. In just 3 seconds, after more than 10 waves of attacks, the skeletons were already drenched in the blue mucus. The blue mucus's extraordinary cohesiveness caused the damage to accumulate rapidly, outpacing the Lich General's healing ability. The skeletal mages, who didn't counterattack, suffered less damage than the skeletal warriors despite constantly enduring the spike attacks. Meanwhile, the Scarlet Moon Demon appeared unscathed, with no decrease in the number of red chain patterns. Lin Moyu tried to retrieve the skeletons, but found that he couldn't, as they were covered in the blue mucus. A seductive laugh came from above. Succubus Alice swayed her tail, saying, "We analyzed your skills. Lady Demon Queen specially selected the Scarlet Moon Demon for you. Enjoy the sensation of slowly drowning in despair." The Scarlet Moon Demon's characteristics were a perfect counter to Lin Moyu's skeletons. No matter how many skeletons Lin Moyu summoned, they would be ineffective against the Scarlet Moon Demon. Mo Yun looked grim. "What should we do?" Lin Moyu, however, remained unflustered. "No rush, let's observe a bit more." He had discovered a detail. After the Undead Legion appeared, the Scarlet Moon Demon's firepower had weakened, roughly by 1/10. Although this change was subtle, but Lin Moyu clearly felt the reduced pressure through his bone armor. It seems that the more enemies it targets, the weaker its firepower becomes. Lin Moyu willed and summoned another Undead Legion. The skeletons spread out, each occupying a distinct area. Including the Lich General, there were now 301 new targets within the barrier. The Scarlet Moon Demon unleashed its offensive at once. A large number of spikes burst out from the ground and stabbed them all at once. However, the attack power was. Sure enough, the power has decreased once again. As the number of targets increased, the Crimson Moon Demon's attacks became more dispersed. The corrosive effect of the mucus began to fade, and the Crimson Moon Demon's attacks grew weaker. The skeletal warriors, previously covered in mucus, finally began to recover. Thanks to the repeated healing from the Lich Generals, their injuries were swiftly healed. The situation had finally stabilized. Lin Moyu and Mo Yun were constantly under attack, and so the bone armor had to be repaired occasionally. If it were before, Lin Moyu wouldn't have been able to hold on for too long. However, after absorbing 15 soul crystals, his spirit force had increased by a large margin. Additionally, the soul gem had boosted his spirit force's recovery rate 100-fold. Furthermore, he carried a substantial amount of Earth Evil Centipede leg meat. Lin Moyu felt confident that he could bear this for a couple of months without issue. If he were to deploy all 10 undead legions to distribute the burden, the pressure would be further reduced, allowing him to last likely more than 6 months. As for the Lich Generals, these things didn't even seem to have any concept of spirit force consumption. Lin Moyu was unsure what the Lich General's skills relied on, as they appeared to function without any visible expenditure. With the immediate life-threatening danger resolved, Lin Moyu breathed a sigh of relief. Next he had to figure out how to deal with the Crimson Moon Demon. There were no perfect monsters. Otherwise, humanity would have been finished long ago. It must have a weakness. He just hadn't figured it out yet. Lin Moyu was in no hurry.